night. Night.
We won't bow down. Yeah. They shut the gate too fast. Call it peace, call it class. But I see who they wave through, and I see who they ask to move. Porch lights on the same old block, same old story, same old talk. If your skin says you don't belong, they can make a wrong look strong. But the fences don't define us, and the fear they feel will blind us. Every face they try to hide still stands right here tonight. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Names get tossed like stones from a driveway built on loans. They pointed brown hands first, then pretend they don't rehearse. But the steps on every street carry more than whitewashed dreams. We belong where we stand, no permission in our hands. Yeah, and the silence won't protect you when the pattern keeps on showing. Every wall they build in pride makes the truth come back alive. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down, 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 down. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down, 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 down. Let it crack, let it show. Every lie they try to grow, one by one, the voices rise till the whole thing can't disguise. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down, 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 down. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out.
What it do, guys? It's your boy, the Juice. And as you all know, my name is Troy Bradshaw, but I go by the Juice. Good evening. Good evening, guys. Big welcomes those of you guys tuning in with me here tonight. As you all know, I've been covering the Nolan Wells case as well as the Nancy Guthrie case. And I would like to continue that tonight. There hasn't really been too many crazy updates on neither of the two. As far as Nancy, we're still waiting for the most part, that DNA. And then with Nolan, I think the biggest result that they're waiting for is the autopsy. I was downtown today. I did go down to downtown of Tucson because of the massive shooting. I gotta say that I thought originally that the officer was saying an officer was in critical condition, but I believe that I got that wrong. I believe the person that the officers shot ended up in life-threatening condition. So it was the other way around. But according to the officer's statement, it sounded like he said there was an officer hurt. And then I've also seen a video where there was an officer down as if he was shot. So I was quite confused. So it seems like there has been no cop that was shot in that incident, just to clear the air. Big welcomes though, guys. Big welcomes, man. It's been a rather good weekend. I hope everybody's weekend's been great. My weekend's been pretty good. Hasn't been a bad weekend this weekend. It went smooth. It actually went by too fast, to be honest. I wish it could have went by a lot slower. Just because it always goes by fast, especially when you're not in a rush to go back to work. Man, when's the next holiday, man? I can't wait to get the next holiday off, man. I love work, but I've been loving this a lot more. So I just wish the weekend, lasts a little longer. Love spending time with the family. Love being able to be home, especially at the new home. I've been enjoying it. Hope everybody had a great weekend, though. It's been a real one for me. I want to start off talking a little bit about the Nolan Wells case. Nancy, like I said, there's not been too many updates on either of the two. However, Chris from the interview room and his wife Karen had brought something very interesting up in regards to Mr. Nonos. Sheriff Nanos, that is. So, I got to play that video. We got to watch a little bit of the interview room tonight because, it was just great. That was a great panel that they had today. Well, not even a panel. That was just a great show that the interview room had today, man. I was impressed. Well, I'm not impressed really because, they were always digging up some stuff and it was rather interesting about Nanos. So we'll get into details in a moment here. I kind of have a little bit of something interesting to bring to mind that we really didn't talk much about. We kind of just talked about it, but we really didn't talk much about Nolan Wells when it comes to the girl that he was supposedly supposed to stay with on the island. So that could be one of the big key factors in this case. I also would like to open up the phone lines tonight as well. So feel free a little later on to chime in on a few calls if you'd like. But anywho, as usual, I just want to get started with a brief prayer here. I don't want to forget that. And then we'll go ahead and continue on here. I got a pretty interesting video to play here. Just to inform you, there is some cursing in the video, but I think we're all adults. So just warning you if you don't want to hear that. That's probably going to be the first video I play, and it's probably going to be a little bit of cussing, but it's an interesting video. As long as it's not me cussing, I guess. Sometimes. Feel free to join me here, chime in with me for a prayer. I'm going to say a prayer here for Nancy as well as Nolan and of course, all of us as well. I like to keep everybody in our prayers. I had a lady reach out to me earlier, and she was saying that she could possibly have cancer. I don't want to say her name because that's not everybody's business, but I did want to, say a prayer for her as well. Trying to keep all the people in my prayers. But anyways, this guy. Anyways, man, feel free to join me for a prayer. Prayer for Nancy. Prayer for Nolan Wells. Pray, then we can cuss. Oh, stop it, Christy. No, I won't be cussing. Prayer for Nancy. Pray for Nolan. Prayer for everybody in general. Dear Heavenly Father, I just wanted to thank you for another blessed day, of course. I just wanted to just remind you to just continue to watch over all of the streamers, all of the people that are missing out there. Watch over Nancy, watch over her family, watch over Nolan Wells, watch over the Wells family as well. And I just wanted you to keep everybody safe, of course, and pray for the people who are going through something in life right now, and just send them a message, Father, and let them know it's going to be okay. And Father, I just ask that you lead us all as usual in the right direction, and continue to watch over myself, the viewers, and all of the people I'm surrounded with as well. And I'm just blessed to have everybody here as a part of the stream, and just my family in general, and just in life itself. In dear Jesus' name, amen. And of course, as usual, we'll take a brief moment of silence here for our two people, one missing, which is Nancy, the other one, Nolan Wells. So I know it's quite late, I know it's pretty early for some of you guys. I do got work tomorrow, but hey, I figured I wanted to get on, of course, and I had a little hair appointment today, so I was like, you know what, I'm probably gonna have to go live late. I started to not get on. I'm always hesitant. I need to stop doing that. But it's always me and time, man. Me and time just don't get along sometimes. It's only if there was more time in a day, that would be great, but there just never is, so it's unfortunate. Big welcomes, those of you guys tuning in, good seeing you. Sunday, Crystal welcomes, Kim Jones, DJ back in the building here, good seeing you. Says, please throw me in there today, Juice. I have a SSI hearing today. I've been batting for 9 years. Oh man, don't worry, I'll say a prayer for you tonight before bed. My apologies, I just barely saw that, so I'm sorry I didn't catch that in time. But it's okay. We don't have to mention anybody specifically in prayers. When I say prayer, I'm praying for everybody in general. So it's all good. And I wish you the best, DJ. And I have high hopes. I think you'll be okay. Wow, 9 years. That's insane. Domsy, good to see you, by the way. Shouts Domsy tuning in here. Big welcome to you. Thanks for the jewels, Julie. Much love. I appreciate it. Yolanda, big welcome. She says, hey, Juice. Good to see you, Yolanda. BB Queen. Big welcome. She says, I'll pray for her. I'm a brain cancer patient, so prayers up for all the cancer patients. Amen. Indeed. And she doesn't know yet if she has it or not. I'm hoping she doesn't, but you never know. And, like I said, I got to hope that she'll be okay. I think, I think cancer is probably one of my deepest fears. I would just hate to have that. Big welcomes, Paula B. Welcome back. Good to see you in the chat, by the way. Welcome all. Miss Mandy, Teresa, or Teresa. Hope I said that right. Christy's tough. Big welcomes here. Jump AZ. See you back in the building, man. Big welcome, Stephen Hinkle. Is it Hinkle? Or is it Hinkle? Man, I'm terrible with names, man. Welcome, Stephen. Good to see you, by the way. Much love, man. I appreciate it. Hopeful. Big welcomes to Hopeful there. Good seeing you. Several folks chiming in. MVP Dan, welcome, man. Strawberry Rain, welcome, and love to see all the folks here in the chat. Lily Haley, welcome. Looks like is it Vile? I want to say Vile Girl. I'm always so bad with these names, man. Man, just you gotta learn how to read names. Purple Peacock, big welcomes. Purple Peacock, Beth Hammond, welcome, man. Welcome all you guys tuning in here. Good to see you guys in the chat as usual. Blessed to have all you guys here, man. What do they say? All praise due to the Most High. Love it. Just love it. Zona Morrison, welcome, man. Just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. I try to go down the line when I get started here. This is a normal routine for me. Love to say hello. You know, I like to acknowledge all the people here in the chat because I mean, you guys make you guys keep the ball moving, man. You guys are, you know, a big part of why this channel is what it is. So I appreciate all of the company here. Janice says, big welcome, Janice, by the way. She says, mine too, Juice. I wish they had a cure for so many people, man. You and me both, man. You and me both. Denise says, please hit the like button. Much love, Denise. Good to see you. I think I've seen you in the chat a little while. Maybe I have, and I just didn't take much notice. Joan, welcome. Says, today was a sad day. My husband celebrated his birthday in heaven. Oh, my condolences. So sorry to hear that, Joanne. Man. Is it a kid of Pratcher? Welcome, man. See Shelly, welcome. So anyways, guys, like I said, I want to talk a little bit about Nolan. You know, I got an interesting topic to bring up when it comes to Nancy, of course, but we'll get there. So one of the interesting things is, you know, that could be a big catch in this story, or, you know, or just know that the last person to see Nolan was Katie. Now, as far as, you know, how this case is pretty much gone. I mean, yesterday we pretty much talked about it all. The dispatch audio from July 4th, which, you know, captures that distress call where the boat was sinking, when one of the people on the boat that appeared to be Nolan's friend was saying, can y'all please come? And then the caller confirms everyone's on the boat was safe, and Nolan was not on the boat at the time. Supposedly, the boat was returning from Horn Island when it began taking on water. And then the FBI, you know, assisted the investigation. And right now they're currently reviewing digital evidence and investigating threats made toward people connected to the case as of right now. And as far as we know, Jackson County Sheriff's Office remains the lead agency in this whole thing so far. But there have been threats of harassment toward friends and family involved with the Nolan report, death threats, and, you know, just a lot of harassment online from what I'm hearing here. And then there was a judge, I believe they're saying Chancery. I don't know if I could pronounce the name, but this judge is connected to one of the boys on the boat and says her family is receiving waves of threats. And then, you know, we got the deleted messages, obviously, in this case, which is a big factor in this case, along with the joint forensic review. You know, Nolan's mother says both Snapchat accounts were empty, unusual for him. It's just not likely for Nolan to, you know, delete photos nor take any, because, you know, a lot of teens are, well, and just in this time in general, you know, no one really leaves without their phone. They always have their phone on them at all times. And people take a lot of pictures, especially when they're in places that they've never been before. And not to say that, you know, Nolan and these guys have never been on this island, but I would assume not. So family alleges that there was messages deleted for the phone before the phone was returned, which is interesting. And then the family agreed to a joint forensic examination of the phone. So they finally did turn that phone in. I think at the beginning they hadn't turned in the phone for a bit to the investigators. The case will go before a grand jury, as far as I know. That was, you know, one of the details we got in the very beginning. And then, you know, we have the 2 autopsies, obviously, but there's also an independent autopsy underway Nolan's body was sent to Washington, D.C. for an independent autopsy. And as you guys all know, I mean, that's all. I mean, it has to be all done and said, it must be all done and over with because his funeral is tomorrow. But I don't know if they're having an open casket, nor do I know if Nolan will actually be there in the casket at this funeral. So maybe they're going to keep his body for even longer, for all I know, to continue this autopsy. I don't know how it 100% works. I don't know if they need to examine the body for a good period of time. So who knows? But I know it's been about roughly 2 weeks since this has all been unfolding here, from the day that, Nolan went on this trip, which was July 4th. So those results for the autopsy, from what I'm hearing, are expected soon. But as of right now, those results are still pending. So all three friends deleted their social media accounts, guys. All three friends. That's what's been reported as of recently, from what I'm hearing. And this is really got the public super suspicious right now. And, it just gets more interesting every day, doesn't it? But all the friends deleted their social media accounts, and national conversations is from what I'm hearing. Nolan stayed behind on Horn Island, and then the authorities believe Nolan remained on the island after his friends left around 3 p.m. So there's just been so many conflicting situations that exist about whether he intended to stay to talk to a girl or return with his friends as of right now. So we're it just gets more interesting, man. This is just this story. It's just getting crazy, and I just think that at some point in time, and I'm hoping not, but it almost seems like somebody's about to explode, and I don't know who it is. I don't know if that's black people in society, because a lot of people are making this a whole race thing. And that's one of the videos I'm bringing to our attention today, because there's just been so much talk when it comes to race, which really sucks, because that shouldn't matter until we get to the bottom of all of this. Nolan's body was found on July 6th, and it was found northwest tip of Horn Island by a National Park Service ranger. Now, remember, he was with a girl. He was supposedly left behind with the girl that he was with. Now, there's been some pictures surfacing online. However, those pictures on the top, especially the picture on the top right, does not appear to be Nolan to me. That particular person looks like he's way too short, and almost looks like he has long hair. I can't tell. Nolan had like a fro. He has like mid, like a mid fro. He doesn't really have like a super long hair. See if I can find that. I had a photo of Nolan and the girl that he was supposedly with. And she goes by the name of Katie. See if I can find that photo. I had that photo on here. What happened to it? We lost the photo just that quick, huh? Tragic. No, we got the photo here. So anyway, this is supposed to be Katie. This is supposed to be the girl that Nolan was supposedly the last seen with. And you know how it goes, because, for those that have been tuned in and have, from day one, you've seen how Nancy Guthrie's case has gone. And it's just, in general, if you've been into crime and you know a little bit about crime in general, that's just how it goes. When that last person, with whoever was last seen with a person that's gone missing or died and they can't figure out the reason why they died, that is going to be the person that they probably first investigate. And obviously this right away we knew that there was no family involvement because no family was on this trip with Nolan. So I think one of the suspicions, not just the friends, have been the girlfriend. Or I'm sorry, not the girlfriend, the girl that he was with. I don't, we don't know if this is actually his girlfriend, but this is the girl that he supposedly stayed back with on the island. So Katie's story in the Nolan Wells case is the last known account of Nolan's movement on Horn Island. And her statement, is one of the major contradictions investigators are trying to, pretty much untangle at this point. So Katie was the last known person to have spoken with Nolan on the Horn Island. But multiple outlets confirm she was last seen talking with him on the north end of the island shortly before he disappeared. So on her account, based on reporting, she talked with Nolan on the island earlier in the afternoon. She believed Nolan was asking back, was heading back to, get on the boat with his friends. And then supposedly she left the island on another boat with a different group of people. So it just states that she left with different people, but not with Nolan's group. And she did then she stated that she had made it home safely. Get this, her mother, and I believe that they're saying that she goes by the name of Gracie McCormack. So this has been publicly confirmed that Katie was indeed with Nolan on the island that day. And this was reported in multiple outlets, okay? Nolan's friend gave a different version of the same moment. They told Nolan's mother that Nolan stayed behind to hang out with a girl named Katie. They left the island around 3 to 4:30 p.m. without him. Some accounts say Nolan chose to stay, while others say he was supposed to return with them. And this directly contradicts Katie's statement that Nolan told her he was going back to the boat. So, to me, why Katie's story matters, obviously, because it contradicts the investigation, for one. Katie says that, they were heading back to the boat, but friends say he stayed behind with her. So she said that she had left and pretty much went home on a boat with someone else. So it's one or the other. Only one story can be right. Only one story can be accurate. So did they stay, did he stay with Katie? Or did he even intend to stay with Katie? But those two stories between the friends and Katie, one has to be right. Or maybe they're both wrong. Maybe they're both not telling the truth. But one of them, I would honestly say one of those, amongst the friends, one of them are, telling the truth. So there's Nolan and his parents. They've been making a lot of appearances. You guys have seen them a lot. They've been pretty national lately, making a lot of appearances on big news media outlets and just shows in general, which is great because they're making great efforts to keep their son's name out there, which is great. These look like the three group of friends that Nolan appeared to be on that boat with, amongst several others, because it was a lot of people out there on that island. It just wasn't them. From what I'm hearing, based on that picture that I showed you guys a second ago, there isn't any like trees on that island that they were on. So I've got a rather interesting video to share with you guys tonight because there's been so much race involved. And I thought this video was a little interesting. A little bit interesting. There's been a lot of fake news going around on Facebook, so be careful where you get your information. Just because you know how Facebook is. If you look on Facebook for news, you know what to expect. Gertrude, good to see you, by the way. Welcome. Zona Morrison says Gulf Coast, these young adults have to still live there and go to school together. We only want the truth. Indeed, I agree. I don't get why people aren't just being honest at this point. It's quite annoying. So this video starts off a little interesting, guys. Like I said, if you don't like, cursing and whatnot, just letting you know there'll be a little bit of that in this video.
The other side is far more diligent about looking for that Messiah than we are, because they know where to look. You probably wonder, why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them?
Does it bother you that you think about black men so much more than they will ever think about you?
You would think if you didn't like something, why would you be paying attention to it? I don't pay attention to things I don't like.
Well, everybody's special. I filed a formal complaint in the federal courthouse against Al Sharpton and Crump.
The liar knows what lie he told.
Inability to read and write at an adult level.
You see what I'm saying? So even if I made it deceitful and I made you think that the answer is over here, but the answer is really over here, I'm still gonna be looking over here. Me, the one that tricked, because I know this is the right answer. Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
We ain't letting them take our women no more. That's over with, I'm telling y'all.
White men are jealous of black men.
65 IQ?
Shut up. These are the people, when you see them in the gym, they be throwing weights. They be so damn frustrated. These are the type of people that be at a construction site. You see them working on something, they start throwing wrenches and shit because they so upset they can't figure it out. They want the world to think that we're slow. They want the world to think that we're lazy, because they know damn well if they leave us the hell alone, we'll take over this whole shit. Whoever did this to Nolan Wells, the spirit of the ancestors is on they ass. Listen, man, you got people that's coming out, stepping forward, letting us know that they grew up around people that was like Nolan Wells' fake friends. You got people that's letting us know all over the internet, and shout out to these people for showing their faces and speaking up and letting us know what is actually going on in their community. But there are white people that's letting us know, listen, they are dangerous. Listen, bro, if you see yourself in certain circumstances, trust your gut instincts. And the spirit is going to speak to you and let you know this is not a good environment that I'm in right now. There's people that's like, Nolan Wells was out there and he was speaking to certain women that they don't like. And it led me to believe that, was Nolan Wells really trying to be these guys' friend? Or did he have a certain lust in him, whereas though that he liked a specific woman? And the apple don't fall too far from the tree. We see what his father like, even though the sister identified as black, but she's mixed. Is that what he liked? And being as though that's what he liked, did he surround himself around these white boys just to get to their women? Because there's so many white people online that's saying, we don't like when black men touch our women, and we label those women as being tainted. We all know throughout history they are obsessed with black men's private parts. We know how that go, even back in slavery. Some of their women had an obsession with black men. So let's start looking at it for what it is. Maybe, allegedly, Nolan Wells was smashing their women and they got tired of that, y'all. There is white men online and saying like, yo, I don't see what the hell y'all arguing about. This is textbook. Pay attention to this video right here, y'all.
I'm about to tell you exactly what the fuck happened to Nolan Wells. I could put any money in the fucking world Yeah, I hung out with a lot of white people like that in high school. And although I am white myself, I certainly am not one of them. But I did have the pleasure of being their friend, and I guess that came with being the butt of every joke and enjoying the finer things in life. But this is textbook. I can give you a fucking play-by-play, I promise you. See, what had happened was, they were getting rowdy, whatever the case may be, drinking all day. Something happened, malicious or not, doesn't really fucking matter. And those boys saw him take his last breath. I guarantee you that. They had an oh fuck moment, got scared, left him, drove the boat off, went home, told mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy told him to shut the fuck up and got him over. It's textbook. Again, I saw this shit happen over and over again growing up. This is how they fucking operate every single motherfucking time. You wanna know what happened? No one.
Now remember, he could have a point there, because remember, the boat did go back home. The boat at some point in time went back to where they originally started from before they actually went to Horn Island. So he could have a point there.
Go at some boys. Problem is now you gotta drag it through court because they lawyered up. But they fucking know. They most certainly fucking know.
And when you see the father say things in his press conference, and when they ask him questions like, do you think race had to do with it? And he just shy away from that. Like, I don't want to believe race had any. He know damn well race has something to do with it. It's just that you got to play this little game with these people just so they won't turn around and try to point the finger at him. See, the father has to play the game. Everybody should just get along. God loves everybody. He has to play this game so people won't come out and say that he's racist, because that's the type of shit that they do. Here it is that he lost his child, and if he was to say that race played a part in it, you would have a group of people saying that he's the racist. This is what they do, y'all, especially when they on camera, they in front of these news networks. This is just the way it goes, y'all.
Well, everybody's official. I filed a formal complaint in the county against, in the federal courthouse against Al Sharpton and Crump for inciting violence in my town that would lead to harm to just about anybody. And specifically, our judge, her family, those kids, their families, stuff like that. So I'm going to keep on filing stuff too, because that's what I can do, because I am an American, a real one, and I live here. I can do that.
Bro, these people are no stranger to the courthouse and paperwork. They all know each other. When they go into, when a regular citizen go into the courthouse, you best believe 9 times out of 10, the people that he's going to go speak to in them offices, they probably damn neighbors, bruh. Do you see how this man just turned everything around and saying Benjamin Crump, Al Sharpton, they out there inciting violence? I don't like what they doing in my town. You know.
Well, in a sense, yes, because they're kind of promoting the fact that it's a race thing, which could, you know, at some point, you know, and they're not promoting violence, but it could lead to that. So, you know, in reference to what the guy before was saying, because look, they went back. Okay, so listen, this is the timeline here. At 5:52, the boat travels into Fort Bay. That's at 5:52. At 6:06 p.m., the boat returns to the dock. That's trip number 1. Trip 2, 7:19 p.m. The boat goes to Fort Bay, boat launch. Well, so the end of the route at 7:19 p.m., the boat was towed overland to the owner's residence in Biloxi, Mississippi. My thing is, why is the boat returning to the dock before it was even towed? Get what I'm saying? But that's only about a 14-minute gap between the time that boat travels. Actually, no, it's not. It's actually hours. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong timeline here. So when the boat left the dock in Mississippi. So so here's actually I read the wrong thing. So the departure, let's start from the departure here. The departure is at 9:56 a.m. So the boat leaves at from the private dock in Mississippi, and then at 11:14 a.m. they arrive on Horn Island. And then the boat leaves Horn Island without Nolan, supposedly. And then they return to the dock. Okay, so that's the actual timeline. Excuse me, I got it confused here. Why did they return? That's the thing. And at this point, the boat didn't need a tow. There was no tow needed at this point as of yet. But it's almost like something happened before they even needed a tow. And it just sounds like that. But maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't. But they returned back to the dock around 5:44 p.m. Remember, they left at about 9:56 a.m. So something had to have happened here. You know, why would they need to go back home? That's the thing for me. Or why would they need to return back to the dock or whatever? Not only that, they went to a totally different island after the fact. They went to a totally different island. Hours after they went to Fort Bay, they go. Hours after. So from 5:52, the boat travels into Fort Bay and then returns to the dock at 6 p.m. So they've got the boat returning to the dock 2 different times. 2 different times. That's a little weird. Those 2 different times, one is at 5:44 p.m. and then the other time is at 6:06 p.m. So I don't understand that. I'm a little confused as to why, you know, they had to go back for whatever reason. But like the guy that before this video was saying, they went back because something happened. They panicked, and this is why they lawyered up so quickly, because their parents told them to shut up for the most part. And I feel like in this particular case, someone assisted them to try to kind of cover this thing up, to, you know, try to prevent one of these kids from getting in trouble. Let's just say one of these kids, and it has to be. I don't see it being a parent or some type of an adult that is responsible for what happened to Nolan. In a sense, yeah, because an adult should be supervising these children on this, just on the whole mission itself. You know, for this trip itself, there should be adult supervision regardless. And there should have been some type of control to whatever took place on this island regardless. Because somebody, obviously, I'm assuming it had to be one of somebody's parents who drove this boat. This was somebody's boat. One of these parents owned this boat. Unless, you know, because I don't know nothing about Mississippi, unless you could rent one of these boats or something like that, you know, and then go out there. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but to me, it sounds like this was one of the boats of one of the friends of parents, which is kind of, which to me, I think that's what happened. I mean, there's some pictures, but I don't know if the pictures are, you know, legitimate pictures. You know, a lot of people are using AI for things now, so I don't want to show the wrong picture. And, you know, then everybody's mad at me because I showed something that wasn't true. I don't know for sure. Until I know a picture that I could get is a fact based on who that particular person is, I won't even show any of those because I don't know yet. And I've yet to really find a legitimate picture. And then not only that, I would like to know who that specific person is that's being showed on the boat that was driven, or, you know, of the boat that drove these kids to this island, along with the person, of course. But yeah, I mean, that's just weird to me. Super, super weird. And I know there's a video of the attorney talking about this stuff. I had watched one a little earlier, but it was a fairly quick clip of him. Maybe I'll bring that up and I'll try to find a quick clip of the attorney. But the boat leaves the private dock in Mississippi at 9:56. It arrives on Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. The departure with Nolan was at 4:31 p.m. The boat left Horn Island at that point without him. So at that point, they leave without him, and then they return to the dock. But instead of returning back to that specific island, they go to another island, which is Fort Bay, and then they return back to the dock again. Was there somebody at this other island? Maybe they had other parents. Somebody had parents at this other island, and they wanted to, I don't get it. I don't get it. And for, that is the suspicious part. The fact that they went to a whole nother island. During that call, Nolan was never even mentioned. Nolan's phone was left behind on the boat. That wasn't even mentioned. And then text messages on his phone were reportedly missing. That's weird. At the end of the route at 7:19 p.m., the boat was towed. At that point, then the boat was towed. So way later, the boat's towed, and that it's towed back to the land of the owner's residence in Biloxi, Mississippi. And that's where they originally left from. So I'm skeptical of, what really was going on. It's really super suspicious. Super suspicious. And I wish I could take this timeline and make a picture of it. Actually, we'll see if I can download this timeline here. Let's continue this video real quick here.
The guy is racing. When he say my town, do y'all not remember this picture that was labeled every white girl's dad nightmare? This was in Booker T. Washington High School in Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia. Do y'all remember when this went viral? Bruh, this wasn't just no joke when it was labeled every white guy's nightmare. This is something serious, bro. They don't like black men messing with their women, bruh. They express it time after time. It's all over the internet. And Nolan Wells was in pictures with not one white girl, but two. And they're saying that he met some white girl out there. And it leads me to believe the girl that he met, did she lower him in? Because she wasn't just out there by herself. Did she lower him in to set him up for failure? Just a question, and everything is all alleged.
I got a story to tell. Story time. But first, this boy in Mississippi, here's some pictures that's come out. Remember he had the 3 YT friends? Look at these pictures. They got sick and tired. I'm not saying they did nothing. I'm just saying they're sick and tired. We ain't letting them take our women no more. That's over with, I'm telling y'all. My YT boys are waking up. I'm speaking faith. All across the nation, you're going to see this happen. White men being white men again.
Listen, man, where do y'all think these little fresh and fit movements and shit come from? These little MGTOW, men go their own way and all of that shit. This stems from hatred from when they were young. Couldn't get no girls. And when they see these black men on TikTok dancing with, we seen it, Nolan Wells up there dancing, doing it, they don't like that because they having fun. laughing. Check this out.
The amount of times I've been on dates with white men and they've asked me if I've dated black guys before is ridiculous. I was on a date with this white guy in Chicago last year and he goes, so who do you typically date? The guys that look like me? I knew exactly what he was getting at because most white guys will ask this question at some point because they're trying to figure out ultimately if you're, quote, tainted. I literally said to him, does it bother you that you think about black men so much more than they will ever think about you? And that ended the conversation, but obviously we didn't go on a second date and I do think he was pretty offended by that. But the amount of white guys, even who are, quote, liberal, who are genuinely threatened and intimidated by you going on a date with people of color is ridiculous. Because it's not just black men. If they find out that you've dated a South Asian man or you've been on dates with women, specifically women of color, they will react similarly. Although it is obviously the most pronounced and genuinely disgusted that they will look if you say that you have been on dates with black men. But this is just one example of white men trying to figure out the, quote, purity of the white women they're seeing. And it's a way of resource guarding their own women because they don't like white women seeing other races or other genders.
This right here is what's going.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a typical question though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've even in my days growing up, I've asked that question to, you know, well, I've never dated a white girl, but like to Hispanic girls, or I haven't really dated too many different nationalities, but that's besides the point. Hispanic though, for sure. But that's kind of a typical question, you know, to ask, you know, when you're trying to pursue someone in some way, as far as trying to date them, you're going to ask that question, you know, have you ever dated black guys before? I don't know. That's a typical question for me. I mean, for everybody, I think in general, but I don't necessarily think that that means that somebody's trying to taint this picture of you or, you know, put you in some type of category. It would just, to me, be simply, well, she just doesn't date or like black men. That's just not her, you know, that's what it would come down to for me. But they're beyond that right here. I don't know. I mean, this is like, I think this is blown way more out of proportion than it needs to be.
I want to show you how they want the world to view us. They want the world to perceive us to be slow, don't know how to read, don't know how to swim. Well, if these people don't know how to do all these things, then why the hell y'all need us to build America for you? Why the hell y'all need us to teach y'all every damn thing? Y'all look up this book called The 13th Tribe. When they came out of the Caucasus Mountains, we had to show them how to wash. They want you to think that our history begins when their America started.
Of what? 65 IQ? That's average. Inability to read and write at an adult level? I'm supposed to be jealous of these things, of these qualities. Pigs have a 65 IQ, the equivalent. Give me a fucking break.
These are the people, when you see them in the gym, they be throwing weights, they be dropping weights, they be so damn frustrated. These are the type of people that be at a construction site. You see them working on something, they start throwing wrenches and shit because they so upset they can't figure it out. Those guys, these big thumb guys, those guys right here.
Wide selection of eye colors. Brown, and also brown. Scratch that one off. What else could I be jealous of? Hair color.
These are the ones without a sense of humor. These are the ones that throw in them dark ass shades. You know you can read someone's spirit. The eyes.
Are people really jealous? Seriously, I don't see that. I don't really never see that. It's not common for me. I mean, what's there to be really jealous about? I think we all have our own perks, you know? I don't know. This is an interesting video, though. I don't get it. I mean, but this is exactly what's going on amongst a lot of these videos. I mean, they're really making this whole thing a race thing. I mean, and it's just deeper than what it should be. I mean, I think this is beyond me. I don't know. I just think it's going too far. But that's just me.
Are the window to the soul. Now you see why these guys with them dark ass shades all the time. I'm starting to think that they go to bed in them damn shades. For what? Because they don't want you to see their soul, y'all. Now, this is a sister that's in the army. And anybody that's been in the army, y'all let me know, is this true? But why is it that black men dominate in every damn sport there is? And I'm not saying there isn't any athletes that are white. I'm not saying that by any means. I'm just saying as a whole, is this something that they're jealous of?
Let's be honest. We all know this shit ain't got nothing to do with a motherfucking beard. White men are jealous of black men, especially in the army. You'll see it every day. No matter what color, race, anything you see how them black men get treated. Even from basic training, I've never heard a drill sergeant say to a white male, oh, you think you're back on the block. They only say that to white dudes. I mean, to black dudes. They only say it to the black soldiers. That right there is just evident in how racist and stereotypical they are. But when it comes down to it, what they be the most mad about is that black people naturally and effortlessly exceed the standard physically in everything they do. And white men, while they can, and they do, they have to put a lot more work in it. With black people, that shit come easily.
That's a fact. Okay, that is a fact. But I mean that there, with certain things, not with everything. But you do take notice, like for instance, when it comes to specific sports, like basketball, the majority is black. Football, the majority is black. I mean, certain things, not everything though. But I don't know why that would lead to jealousy. You ever seen the movie White Man Can't Jump? That's funny because I was thinking about my pops back here, and I got Sydney and Billy in White Man Can't Jump. And it kind of gives you that idea of the difference between the two. Most white men can't jump. Okay, it's the truth. It's not common to see a white man dunk the basketball like a black man. Physically, yes, they're the strengths mostly when it comes to certain things are much stronger in certain areas, but that's not in every aspect. Okay, so I get that. I get what they're saying, but I don't understand what that really has to do really necessarily with Nolan. I guess it would because it's pertaining to football. Okay, it could have something to do with football. It could have something to do with being one of not very many, because wherever he's going to school, obviously there's probably not very many black men, which would maybe make Nolan one of a kind in that school. I don't know, but there are certain areas, yes, that a black man is physically stronger in certain areas physically, but white men also have their perks. I think they're both. I think eventually, it can all weigh out to be equal. I don't really, put myself above someone else because of color. I don't know. It's just not me. But as far as there being a jealousy thing, yeah, I think people have things that they hide and don't say it out loud. And, it could develop over time enough to provoke somebody to want to just off somebody, I guess. But I don't really see that in this case. I don't really see that really taking place. I don't know. I feel like it's something else. For me, if you ask me what my theory would be, I think my theory would be something just went wrong on the island and it all went downhill. But I mean, I think that would be the most easiest thought to think of, I guess, to say that that's what really happened. I guess it would just be more surprising if this turned out to be a race thing. And I really hope not. I have seen situations where a young man, which would be really considered a child, has bumped heads with a full-grown adult. And, I've seen racial comments with a young child and a fully grown man go left many, many of times. So that could have been a situation that took place where Nolan bumped into it with maybe somebody's parents that they didn't like there, and they exchanged words. That led up to some type of altercation, and it just went too far. And there could have been some history that they bumped into on that island. I mean, we're gonna figure out though. We are going to figure this out
easily. So they're jealous.
And since we so damn slow, That GPS information that was tracking the boat and all of that, and how y'all figured that out? A black woman created that GPS. She goes by the name of Gladys West, and I just wanted to acknowledge her because she passed away in January, the beginning of this year. And she's the one who created the algorithms and the foundation for the GPS. Check it out, y'all.
Gladys grew up on a small family farm in rural
Since we so
Virginia,
slow.
the daughter of sharecroppers. As high school valedictorian, she earned a scholarship to Virginia State College, where she studied mathematics.
No, you can't go to a college because we slow. We don't know how to read. How did she go to college? That don't make no sense.
A few years after graduating, Gladys was hired at the Naval Proving Ground in Dahlgren, Virginia, where she was one of only 4 black employees.
What they need 4 black women for? For what?
One of the others was a man named Ira West, who would become her husband of 67 years. While programming large-scale computers and analyzing...
I'ma tell you why. They want the world to think that we're slow. They want the world to think that we're lazy because they know damn well if they leave us the hell alone, we'll take over this whole shit.
Why does he think that, though? And then, as black people, when are we going to let all this stuff go? Like, when are we going to stop thinking the way we think about certain things, When are we going to stop? At what point in time? I guess when race stops? I mean, but that's back and forth between everybody. It's not just white people being racist. I mean, there's Chinese people who are racist. There's Hispanics who are racist. It's not just white people, and also there are people privileged in other areas. I think, I think it's everywhere. I think there's certain places that provoke certain privileges amongst certain races, I guess a majority of America, I guess, according to people, that, most white people are privileged in most areas of America. And I think that's just what black people think nowadays, still in time now, which is, it's kind of crazy. But I just hope that eventually at some point in time, we could kind of just start letting this stuff go and stop, looking backwards so much. I mean, I get it. I get it. But we don't even know if this is the case yet. We don't even know. And what's the point that needs to be proven? Like, why do we need to prove a point of how intelligent we are based on history? Come on, man. There's no point. I don't know. I just feel like that's pointless. But I get it.
That's why they are so in a rush to go to other countries and to put it in the movies and to tell everybody, look, no, these people are lazy. Don't mess with them. They're violent. They're slow. They don't know how to read. Then why the hell they won't leave us alone?
Why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? I don't pay attention to things I don't like.
Because they know that we would excel and surpass everybody on the planet Earth. They know that. This is what they understand. Whoever did this to Nolan Wells, the spirit of their ancestors is on their ass. Remember, she just passed away. And that GPS information just came out, y'all. The spirit is on it. It's on it, y'all.
Satellite data for the Navy in the 1980s, West developed an increasingly precise and accurate map of the Earth's shape. Her algorithms and data mapping created the functions and laid the groundwork for the modern global positioning systems, or GPS, found in phones, cars, and in military weapons. West retired from the Naval Surface Warfare Center in 1998 after 42 years of service. At the age of 70, she went back to school, earning a doctorate from Virginia Tech. Dr. Gladys West, whose groundbreaking work paved the way for GPS, died last weekend in Fredericksburg, Virginia. She was 95 years old.
Just crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm feeling that very much. That was a good video, though. I mean, just, I guess I get the drift. I get the point he's trying to prove. But at the same time, I don't know. For me, I'm a sit back and observer, and I wait till things kind of unfold before I bring a suspicion into play, as if that's actually what it really is. And I don't know. It's bothering to see this the way it's the way people are addressing this situation. I mean, you don't know until you know. We got to stop, folks. To my black people, we got to chill out right now. We got to calm down and just relax until we know. We don't know until we know. Remember, there's somebody painting a narrative here. It's he say, she say right now. We haven't even got real answers yet. We haven't even, people are talking, but they haven't released, a lot of what people have been saying to the public yet. So we just don't know a lot of information that we just would love to know right now. And we just haven't heard, from many other people that were on the boat. We've heard 911 calls, and they didn't give us even the whole thing of that. We've heard some friends reaching out, saying how great of a person that Nolan was, and how great of a friend that they were to Nolan, and how great of a friend he was to them. But, we haven't really heard much about what really happened on that island. We don't know what took place on the island. We've heard rumors that there was an altercation that took place on the island, but we don't know who started it. We don't know how it ended. We don't know who was there at the time. We don't know if this fight even took place when his friends all left him there. We really don't know much yet. So it's hard to say. And nonetheless, again, just to remind everybody, y'all, he wasn't the only black person on this island. It's not like he was there with only white people. I get it. The probably majority of people on this island were white people, but it's not what this is being made out to be so far. I mean, we just don't know yet. But this is seeming like going. It seems like it's just going down the wrong direction as of right now, so far. I wanted to real quick see if I could find a video of Ben Crump, because there's a specific one I saw, but I wasn't able to find the actual one. There is the one where they held that press conference. However, that wasn't the one that I was looking for with Benjamin. Maybe it's this one.
We're doing this because we want answers.
Christine Wells Wansley and Elmore Wansley say their son Nolan went out for a fun.
I don't think it's this one. I can't find that video. I think it's this one, but I can't find the full video of Benjamin when he speaks out. And I wanted to share that one real quick, but I don't see it. Because there's so many people covering this. Every time I look for the video, it's just
the only thing
someone else covering it. It's not the actual video. It's like so hard to find the actual original videos because there's so many people showing them. But see if this one's it here.
Been to Nolan Wells.
The only thing we've heard is what was suggested at the very beginning before any forensics was done.
No,
seemed like before any interviews or interrogation of any of the witnesses who were on the boat, and that is they don't believe it's any foul play. They think it was an accidental drowning. That has been the suggestion, and that's very troubling for Christine and Elmore, the parents of Nolan Wells.
And agree to chime in on Julie's comment. Yeah, I agree with that comment. Says I could see it both ways, lawyered up because they're hiding something, or lawyered up so they aren't wrongfully accused. Yeah, I can. I understand that for sure.
As many of us in the Black community, because we believe that they are trying to sweep this matter under the rug, especially when you think about the history of the state of Mississippi when it comes to Black people being killed in highly questionable situations and nobody ever having any accountability.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Local officials said that the friends are cooperating with the investigation. Is that true? And what explanation, if any, have his friends given for leaving the island without him?
You know, we don't know the level of cooperation the friends are engaging in because they all have retained attorneys. But what Nolan's family and friends feel like, had the roles been reversed and that these had been 3 young black men and there was only 1 young white man and he ended up dead, that the investigation would be much more zealous, that there would be interrogations, they would be separated, they would be held for all kinds of crimes and misdemeanors until somebody started to talk, that they would challenge the narrative that has been presented, and that being that Nolan voluntarily said he's going to stay behind, and his parents and friends outright reject that. They said that is not of Nolan's character or disposition, and had he done so, would he have ever not wanted his cell phone? We're talking about an 18-year-old kid. And so many things are troubling and conflict when they listen to these narratives, try to explain why Nolan Wells went out with them on the boat. They all came back alive, and Nolan was washed up on the shore unalive.
You shared a photo on social media that appears to show Nolan Wells at a land-based pool party in Jackson County on July 5th. We have the photo there on the screen, and there's a red circle, and he is in one of those red circles. And now this was a day before
So it seems like to me that he's like, either this is an old photo or, you know, because I've been hearing a lot of rumors that there's been a lot of old photos being shared. And of course there will be, because I mean, he's everybody's, thinking about the history that they've had with this, person that they, at one point in time was their friend, or, is still currently their friend. But when you look at this picture, it's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like this, is a possibility that may not even be Nolan. I don't know. I mean, just in comparison to some of these other pictures here that I was looking at, it seems like, it's just an old picture, because he's far much more built, in comparison to the photo that we're looking at here that's supposed to be him in a pool with a group of white folks. So I don't know, but time will tell. Yeah, I mean, is it over a girl? Is this about sports? was it on purpose? Was this an intentional, was this an actual murder, or was it an accident and they tried to cover this up, or was it intentional and and then they tried to cover it up? There's so many questions on, what really happened out there on this island and what exactly led up to Nolan being, unalive somehow, some way. So sad.
He was found dead. How does this photo call the timeline into question?
Well, so many people, and that's the thing that gives us hope that we will finally get to the truth of what really happened, because so many young people are talking and they're sharing photographs and they're sharing videos and they're calling our call center and telling us that they were on Horn Island. And so I think the photograph that you're displaying is one that was presented to Nolan's mother and to my office that we shared on social media to simply say that if people have any information about who's in this photograph, when it was taken, where they were located at when they took this photograph, it would be very helpful, because there are many things in that photograph that we think can help build to what was the atmosphere on that July 4th weekend.
There are certainly at this point more questions than answers. What does his family, what does Nolan Wells' family want the public to understand about him beyond the circumstances of his untimely death?
Everybody, not.
It's crazy because, that photo, I mean, obviously that's him, because the lawyer is saying that that's, he's pretty much saying that that's him. So I guess that is Nolan in this photo, but it just looks like an old photo to me.
Death.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
Everybody, not just his mother and father, but everybody who's talked about Nolan Wells talks about what an angel of a person he was, how he was this gifted college football player, student athlete, how he was so considerate during school that he would always try to help people, no matter who they were. They said Nolan's smile would just brighten a room. They talked about how Nolan was a person who was responsible. So that's why they dispute him saying, I'm just going to stay on the island. And when you think about the conflict and statements between the young lady he was talking to, who said he told her that he was going to get back into the boat with the boys. And then the boys said that Nolan said he was going to stay and talk with her. Obviously, the statements conflict with one another. And that's one of many contradictions and conflicts that are glaring in this case. And so we're just trying to ferociously search for the truth.
Attorney Ben Crump, thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Man, that's tragic. That is so tragic, man. What a tough situation in this case. And obviously more developments will probably come out this week. I think by this week we'll have some type of update on that, excuse me, that autopsy report. We'll see. We will see. My goodness. Trying to pull up chat so I can see chat here. Flicker Face says, I wish I had more to add to this case. It's horrible, but in my opinion, it's either the boys or the girl, and one of them will break eventually. Truly sad, though. Maybe not, because these lawyers are in place for these boys that were supposedly on the boat with Nolan. So maybe not, And if they do, obviously the lawyers will be speaking on their behalf. So. Which, like I was telling you guys before, which makes this a lot more suspicious. It's raising a lot more attention because of that. So, and in a lot of people's eyes, it's not a good look. So, I don't know. Julie says, I feel so badly for his mom. Me too. Me too. The dad as well. I bet the police and the feds would have raised 3 black kids' homes, ripped them away from their family, and had them in lockup until they got all answers to look for even, yeah, and you know what? That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying is, well, that's what the lawyer keeps saying, and many other people, that if it was all flipped, and if it was opposite and we got 3 black males and 1 white guy, these guys would probably be behind bars already. Honestly, I have to say that, amongst black folks, I can't say that we're as good as, white people with getting lawyers. I mean, I think white people are a lot better when it comes to, getting lawyered up. I feel like we fall short in that area more so than a white person would. That's just me though. Good to see you, Mikey's girl. Big welcomes. Domsey says it's not suspicious to consult an attorney. It's smart, especially with all the speculation. I agree. But it's, amongst everybody else, they're, saying that it's very suspicious that they are doing that. But at the same time, I mean, to me, it is and it isn't. It is and it isn't. Because at the end of the day, I guess, what are you going to be in trouble for if you really did nothing wrong? But at the end of the day, it's definitely necessary, because if somebody doesn't really want to come forward and tell the truth because they're worried about being put away for the rest of their life, then they're going to do everything in their power to do so. Not everybody is going to crack, that's guilty of something and, just tell the truth. So, yeah, I mean, an attorney's going to be able to back you on a lot and help you more than you can, prove your innocence. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely necessary. I wouldn't, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I mean, preferably, if I was in these white guys' shoes, I would say lawyer up. If that was, if I was asked for a recommendation, that would be it for sure. But, someone's not being honest. And I just hope that if they left him on that island, whatever took place, it happened when they weren't present. But I think at the end of the day, they're also still responsible for leaving him on that island. Now, he is an adult, so he's for the most part responsible for himself. However, I still think this doesn't sit with me well due to the fact that they left him there, and they should have told him that he needed to go. They should have made him board that boat with these guys. And I don't know why I'm seeing the fact that these guys were super intoxicated and they just weren't making normal situations as they would if they were, sober. I feel like the decisions that they were making was under the influence, but that's just my opinion. Hey, you're all good, DJ. No worries. Flicker Fade, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. She says, I think that what I'm trying to say is, from a sleuth perspective, it seems very obvious what happened, certainly. Not that I don't care. I agree. Yeah. I mean, we know something happened. We just got to figure out what it is. Tammy Rag says, after watching Law and Crime, there's more to this story than what we see here. And I don't think at least one of the 3 had anything to do with it except the drinking. And there were grown adults on island. I agree. That's what I was saying earlier. I mean, there might be something that occurred between Nolan and a fully grown adult, like somebody's parents. Domsey says maybe if the media didn't explode this story, they wouldn't have gotten lawyers. Good point. Yeah, I agree. But there's this. I also think that it's not just the media. I think people in that city itself are, talking. Not even just the city, the state or, you know, things aren't sitting too well with people in that state. You know, I mean, you got people out there marching, like, I don't even know who that was. I thought it was like the Black Panthers or something. I don't know, but it's crazy out there right now. I would love to go out to Mississippi. That'd be awesome to take a trip out there this weekend and just to kind of get a glimpse of how everything is going down. It'd be nice to make an appearance at that funeral. I mean, although I don't know Nolan, so that wouldn't be, to me, that wouldn't be respectful of the family to go to the funeral. But I guess afterwards, like the, what do you call it? The, where they get together and kind of have a party after the funeral. Oh my God, what is it called? Can't remember the name. The repast. That would be awesome to go to Nolan's repast. So guys, I wanted to bring up something revolving around. I want to switch it up here and talk a little bit about Nancy before it gets too late. Not the memorial, the repast. So the repast is where they kind of get together, they have food, which would be, yeah, to some people would be called the reception. Yeah, I guess you could call it that too. Yeah, kind of a celebration of life, exactly what it is. But a lot of people here, they call it the repast. And, you know, like I said, that's, you know, just a gathering after the funeral where they, you know, I think a lot more people show up to that than the funeral. But I want to switch it up here. Sat says I will be intense. It will be intense, the big publicly broadcast funeral, then maybe an autopsy this week also at any day. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And then, you know, there's going to be some famous people there as well. It's going to be a crazy funeral for sure. Funeral is tomorrow, yes. From what I'm hearing, the funeral's tomorrow at about 9 in the morning, I think. I thought I had a photo of it, but I don't. No, I don't have that photo. Anyways, real quick, guys, I wanted to switch it up here. We could talk about a little bit of everything tonight when it comes to Nolan, and when it comes to Nancy. But that's what I wanted to switch it up to here is really not just not really mainly Nancy. Unfortunately, we know who kind of stole, you know, the attention on this specific case, and that was Sheriff Nono. So I want to talk about what the interview brought to our attention today, which was great. Shouts to the interview room. Shouts to Chris and Karen on the interview room. If you watched the interview room today, what a show. And they've just been really doing a good job digging up information. And boy, oh boy, didn't they dig up some good information today. So Sheriff Nanos worked his way up inside the department. Nanos started as a correction officer in 1984. Then moved through pretty much every rank. You know, he was a deputy, he was a detective, he was a sergeant, he was a captain, he was a chief deputy, you know, second in command. So he became a sheriff the first time because he was appointed in August of 2015. So the sitting sheriff, which was Clarence Dupnick, I believe, retired. And Nanos was already the number 2 in charge at that moment in time. So the county appointed him to finish the term. So he didn't win an election. He was placed into the job. And I think we kind of all knew this, but none of us really took the time to really dive into like a lot of the details. And if we did, it really wasn't talked about much. But so Nanos lost the election in 2016. And then after, he finished the appointed term, he ran for sheriff but he didn't win. So he left office, and it stated that a sheriff is normally elected by voters, right? So if the sheriff retires and resigns, dies, or is removed, the county can appoint someone to take over immediately. So the department isn't left without a leader. So that appointed person becomes official sheriff with full legal authority, but only until the next election. So he came back and won the election in 2020. 4 years later, he ran again. This time he won. But there's a little bit of a twist that Karen and Chris are going to share as of to, why and how Sheriff Nanos won this election to be elected of sheriff starting in 2021. So the county appointed him to finish Dupnick's term exactly how that's exactly how, the process works, okay? So I wanted to share this video with Karen and Chris, of course. I encourage you guys to go watch their stream today. It was a great panel. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And it was quite disturbing, to be honest. So let's play a little bit of this here, just real quick here.
Here's the high-level overview. Chris Nanos was appointed sheriff, Pima County Sheriff, in August of 2015. Were you going to say something?
Appointed.
Yes, appointed.
That's important to understand for
this is true. Okay, so let me back up just for a second. Chris Nanos in 2014 was the second in command under Sheriff Dupnick. And so when Dupnick retired in 2015, the Board of Supervisors appointed Chris Nanos to step into the sheriff's shoes midway through the year, August 1st, 2015, to replace the retiring sheriff. In 2016, Chris Nanos lost the election for sheriff because of this whole scandal that we're going to lay out for you tonight. So he lost the election to Mark Napier. That was 2016. In 2020, Sheriff Nanos ran again, but this time he defeated Napier in the sheriff's race. So that was 2020. In 2024, Nanos ended up winning re-election, but we can't forget he put his opponent, Sheriff's Lieutenant Heather Lapin, what I call under house arrest, AKA he put her on administrative leave for 3 weeks, in the 3 weeks before the election.
Now tell everybody what that means. I mean, for those who may not know it, maybe overseas in Australia or New Zealand or whatever.
So administrative leave means that she could not come into the sheriff's department and do her job.
Now do the math, right? Everybody, right, hon?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Do the math.
Outrageous.
Your opponent,
political opponent
in an election, running for the job that you want because the sheriff is an elected position. The guy you're running against basically puts you in jail. He freezes you out of the election, even during the day that she was supposed to vote.
And the only reason he could even do that is because she worked in the sheriff's department.
Right.
If she had a job elsewhere, Nanos could have never extended his long arm of the law to affect her. But she worked under him in the sheriff's department. And by the way, that she sued him, and it's an unsettled lawsuit. It's still out there.
That is still going. That lawsuit is still pending. Now, Nanos won a lawsuit recently from an inmate in the jail who sued the Pima County Sheriff's Office for $1.3 million. But the court just threw that case out because the person suing is a inmate in the jail. And so don't let him, pull a fast one on you that just because that lawsuit got thrown out. Again, this goes back to the time where even he was in El Paso and they couldn't take him to the grand jury. So he's got some tremendous luck right now. But I think this Nancy Guthrie case, the luck's going to run out. It's coming. I can feel it. Go ahead.
Okay, so again, back to 2024, Nanos wins by a mere 481 votes. That's like a handful of votes.
481 votes because he kept his opponent.
He kept his opponent
from
going out and campaigning in the last 3 weeks.
Last 3 weeks.
And he's being sued over that.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Yeah. So here we are in 2026, right?
Yep.
The world gets to meet Sheriff Nanos February 1st, 2026, when Nancy Guthrie disappeared out of her home. The folks of Pima County have been dealing with him for a number of years prior to that. So do you want me to give the high-level overview of the case, or you want to walk us through it?
Let's walk everybody through. And by the way, this you get an idea how this guy operates by the way he gutted the department to anybody that opposed him. I mean, he gutted the homicide team. We're seeing that. He took the individuals like the Sergeant Cross from, I guess he's with the Deputies Association. He put that guy on a desk somewhere in the middle of the East Jabip.
And that's a lawsuit as well.
That's also a lawsuit.
Which we've reported on this channel before.
He hooks up all the streamers out in front of Nancy Guthrie's house, even though there were maybe 100 other media outlets. And once those media outlets left, he didn't think that, that citizen journalist existed. So he had them arrested. And 3 of those cases have already been tossed out and adjudicated, meaning 2 of them with prejudice and 1 without. So I can see some lawsuits on top of that coming because, that's a First Amendment.
Okay, real quick, I got to stop it here. I had to stop for just a second. I'm sorry, guys. I had to step away for a second because my little man's nose was bleeding like crazy. So he was screaming like crazy. The kids, they don't like their nose being wiped. What's going on in chat? I missed something. Some way Juice ended up in trouble. He did what he wants, makes up as he goes along. Wait, what? So confused. What did I miss in chat? Oh, you're talking about Sheriff Nanos making stuff up as he goes along. I kind of misread the comment there. Didn't really understand. DJ, you doze off again?
Me too.
Oh, you're saying that Nanos makes up stuff as he goes along. Okay, yeah. I get you. I get what you're saying. I got you. I misread it. Yeah, I mean, that's all he does. I mean, he acts like, the funny part about Nanos is he acts like he doesn't know what he's doing. He acts like he's literally slow on purpose. And he's not fooling anybody at this point. I mean, we're all in tune now. It's almost like at this point he's caught. We already know, he knows we're on to him. I think Sheriff Nanos is going to be in prison pretty soon. I think before he even ends whenever he's done, before he's even done, I think he's going to end up behind bars. That's just my opinion. There's just no way he's going to be able to continue getting away with what he's getting away with. I mean, somebody's going to figure it out as far as being able to figure out a way to finally do something. So we'll see. I want to continue this for a second here, though, because it gets good.
Violation from the word go. Now we get into this RICO thing. And when we talk about this RICO thing, this is a really serious problem. It's as serious as the situation in El Paso. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because in this particular case, we're gonna lay it out for you. Even though he skated, this was the foundation of the relationship when the FBI showed up to help in the Nancy Guthrie case. This is what started the animosity and the non-cooperation and the word salad about, well, we notified the FBI, yada, yada, yet it was a task force member from his agency, a female. And so this guy is real good about triple talk, double talk, word salad talk. And I don't know if it's in the water or what, but in this particular case, the FBI investigated the Pima County Sheriff's Office and in a RICO scandal, meaning how roughly $500,000, $500,000 in seized forfeiture funds was quietly diverted for nearly 20 years, and why only one man was ever charged. And this is a really, really sad case.
And I'm a little spoiler alert. The man that was charged was Sheriff Nanos' number 2 guy at the time.
Yes. And his number 2 guy today had been also charged with a situation. He lost his job. He fought to get it back. He got it back, but tell the audience what he had to do.
And I can never remember, is it Joe Harvey or Joe Cameron? I forget what his original last name was, but he came back. He got his job back. He changed his name, came back to the sheriff's department, and now he's the number 2 guy under
Nanos.
Under Nanos. But he was he got in trouble for excessive force as a sheriff's deputy.
So real quick, I'm not gonna lie. I've looked that up several times as far as the sheriff who changed his name, and it states that that's a rumor. It doesn't really say that it's a fact that he changed his name, but they've done their research and they've looked all this stuff up. So can't argue with that at all. Just wanted to say that.
Patrolman a number of years ago.
So imagine that. His number 2 guy right now had to change his name to come back into the sheriff's department. And the guy over the criminal investigations division, i.e. over the Nancy Guthrie case, has never worked a homicide. And his past is quite colorful or quite interesting as well. So this is the cast of characters that you have. Now, you be the judge. You tell us what your feelings are, what your thoughts are. Feel free to fire up the chat. But you can't make this stuff up. I don't care how hard you try. I have never seen a law enforcement agency in my couple of weekends around this business where it is so screwed up like this that everybody has a jacket and that they had been involved in some type of investigation on a federal level.
Well, when you say everybody, let's be 100% clear. We're talking about the top 3 people running the organization. This is not the rank and file.
No, I'm not talking about the rank and file. I'm talking about, those people with,
Power.
Butter bars and power.
Yeah.
Everybody in power. That's who I'm talking about. Now, this is really important to understand because when you hear the FBI director tell the world that, hey, they kept us out for 4 days. Well, Karen wanted to know, what are you talking about and why did that happen? And now we get into these 4 boxes about why this scandal matters. Because Nancy Guthrie has already paid the price. Because this was the scandal that Nanos held over the FBI's head. And this is the anger and the animosity that he holds towards them.
I think I need to hear that one more time. Let me go back real quick. That was crazy. Go back.
On a federal level.
Well, when you say everybody, let's be 100% clear. We're talking about the top 3 people running the organization. This is not the rank and file.
No, I'm not talking about the rank and file. I'm talking about, those people with,
Power.
butter bars and power.
Yeah.
Everybody in power. That's who I'm talking about. Now, this is really important to understand, because when you hear the FBI director tell the world that, hey, they kept us out for 4 days. Well, Karen wanted to know, what are you talking about and why did that happen? And now we get into these 4 boxes about why this scandal matters. Because Nancy Guthrie has already paid the price. Because this was the scandal that Nanos held over the FBI's head. And this is the anger and the animosity that he holds towards them. And this is why within the first 48 hours, mistakes were made, not on top of the political decisions that were made and the political backbiting and infighting that was taking place. So bucket number 1, tell everybody about bucket number 1, Karen.
So the public funds that were misused, I guess, I have a problem with these words. I mean, we got to call it what it is. Nearly $500,000, that's $500,000 in RICO forfeiture money was diverted in just 5 years. It was part of a scheme that was running close to 20 years. And all this blew up under Sheriff Nanos's leadership. Now, if you want to know what RICO means, I'm going to make sure I have it right.
We'll get that on the next slide.
Oh,
that's okay.
Well, I was going to look it up.
Go ahead.
I got to find it. Hang on a sec. Okay. RICO stands for Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations.
Okay, so first of all, let's do the math. The FBI was looking at the sheriff's department for basically the same way they look at the mafia. That's what RICO is.
Right, because these were federal funds. These were federal funds that Pima County Sheriff's Department is in charge of using.
Right. And so bucket number 2, how many prosecutions came out of this?
Only one prosecution came out, and it was the Chief Deputy Chris Radke. He ended up taking a misdemeanor plea.
So just real quick, because it's kind of interesting, as far as them mentioning the RICO side of things, to go more in depth, it's a type of crime that's it's a type of criminal charge that's used when a group of people is committing crimes as like an organized enterprise sort of thing. So I kind of took notice of that when we were arrested that day, because the officer that arrested me, I don't know. To me, guys, I'm not going to lie. I think I observed people well. I just seen evil in that guy's eyes. And the first impression that I got with one of the officers, so one that took me to jail, that guy was one of the minions of Nanos. Not only that, I've never, ever seen him out of all of the police interactions that I've had in Nancy's neighborhood. I've never seen some of those group of guys that rolled in that day, especially the one who took me in. And I don't know if some of you guys, I'm sure some of you guys were there, but I don't know if you remember in the video, I was really in fear for my safety. I was actually scared. None of that is mentioned in the report. Not only that, he did not care a bit. No budge, no facial expressions, nothing. No filter whatsoever. He didn't even try to make me comfortable in that sense. He didn't care whatsoever. And that day I got the impression that, there's really people working. I already had that suspicion, but there's some people working for Nanos, doing stuff we would never imagine behind the scenes. And when Nanos goes down, because I believe that he is, revolving around a RICO, there's going to be a whole lot of people that go down with him. For sure. I'm not even going to be surprised if it's people within the jail, because they knew exactly who we were when we got there. But they played a good part and acted like they didn't. But you could just kind of smell it with some of those guys. You could just kind of tell, some of these guys they're in on some stuff, and I'm not lying. I mean, you could just see it. You could just see it. Not only that, when we were going down to the jail, it was just really, really weird. He kept texting. He kept looking at his phone. We went slow. And we went the longest way to get there. The longest way. And I'm from Tucson, right? I know Tucson by the back of my head, right? So I know that there's plenty of other routes to get to the Pima County Jail. So I don't know if they were thinking about taking me somewhere else or whatever they were thinking about or what he was doing. And I had a hard time really kind of looking at his phone to see what was going on. But he just kept texting, and it was brief. And then, like I said, we were going so slow. And that was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced, as far as, going to jail, because I've been there before. And normally, they'll have a conversation with you when you're going down, and they take the necessary route to get there. Never do they take the longest route. Just thought I'd bring that to mind.
But he was charged with 7 felony counts. So that was really serious. Nobody else was charged, despite others being involved and having, I guess to some extent, widespread involvement. And go ahead.
Bucket 3, the political consequences.
Yeah, the fallout really helped Sheriff Nanos lose the 2016 election. He did get back in office in 2020, but he was in office. He was the sheriff in 2015, and within the first 6 months, you guys, within the first 6 months of his leadership, the FBI is at his door with a RICO investigation.
Do the math.
That's huge.
6 months of being elected sheriff, the FBI is sitting at your kitchen table wanting to know where $500,000 has just evaporated. Where's it at? What are you doing? Where's it going? So in bucket 4, why is that relevant today in this ongoing investigation? Because Nanos today remains the sheriff in 2026 amid new controversies now.
Yeah, a lot of them that have been stacking up.
His truthfulness in terms of his resume has now surfaced, as we know, during the Nancy Guthrie case. Perjury allegations have come forward from the Board of Supervisors. And there also are allegations of how he has handled this investigation and the criticism that has come along with that. So right now, he is on a very thin sheet of ice. And here we are, almost 7 months into this now, coming up, into searching for Nancy Guthrie. And that is the ongoing relevance in what we feel is important here. So again, a quick high-level overview. Who is this guy? He started in 1976, began with the El Paso Police Department. He rose steadily through the ranks after leaving El Paso after 37 allegations of time off, some of that for beating a prisoner and putting that individual into the intensive care unit. with a flashlight, by the way, while handcuffed. And they actually took him to the grand jury, but the handcuffed individual was unable to testify against him, so he skated.
He narrowly escaped prosecution. Let's say it the way it is.
So let's look at the reality of that. Okay. The reality of that is back then, this guy was suspended 37 times. 37 times.
In 6 years.
One of those suspensions was for beating a prisoner with a flashlight, to the point where the district attorney said, that's criminal. Let's take him to the grand jury. Ladies and gentlemen, around this country, around the world, that's who's leading the Nancy Guthrie investigation.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think Sheriff Nanos is a part of, for sure, especially with all the money that's being spent, that we're finding out about, on top of the restaurant that he got for one of his relatives, from what we're hearing, is money laundering. I think there's also kidnapping going on, obviously, and that has something to do with Nancy, and who else knows if any other kidnappings took place. I think there's some bribery going on, some illegal gambling, and also fraud, and along with some drug trafficking. I think all of that is going on in his little clique or whatever he's got going on, for sure. And I think it's just a matter of time that, all of these, acts that are going on, amongst his little organization that he's got behind the scenes will come to light. And it's already starting to all come together. It's just a matter of time. And, like Chris, thankfully for Chris, I mean, he's figuring it all out. And everybody is starting to look into his history a little bit more. I think people are starting to take a second and third look as of, what's really suspicious about this guy's history. And he's worked his way up the ranks, guys. He really hasn't really worked to get, where he's at. Like, he wasn't initially elected. So I think based on the little things that he's doing behind the scenes, I truly think that that's why he was reelected. I think he was able to manipulate the system. Not only that, but as you heard, Chris has just stated that he made somebody that was in the run for his spot, because he was in fear of losing his spot. He made them go to jail, so that way he could win and, continue his little campaign as a sheriff. And that's crazy. Not only that, we recently heard about the lawsuit that just took place not too long ago, that whoever was trying to sue him lost. But for that specific one that I just brought up, that one is still ongoing. That's crazy. And I'm going to keep a close eye on that, because there's no way. I mean, it should be more than just a civil lawsuit to me. There's no way he's getting away with half of this stuff. Why are they putting up with this? Is it the fact that they're not able to tie him to everything? Are they trying to, build more and, and then hit him with it? Do they just not have enough to get this guy out of there? Not only that, but lock this guy up. I don't know. I mean, when it comes to a RICO, I would only assume that they would have to put everything together first before they start making arrests. I don't know. I feel like they have enough on Nanos to probably arrest him. But this is why he doesn't like the FBI, because the FBI has started to figure out all this stuff. So that explains why he kept the FBI out for 4 days, as long as he possibly could before it became more suspicious, because it already was. That's just crazy, man. Insane.
This guy is leading. I'm going to say it again. And Savannah, if you're listening, please talk to your people and get this guy out of the picture. Get him out of the picture.
You think Savannah heard
his
this?
2016 reelection amid the incident we're going to talk about tonight, the RICO fallout. Okay. But he won a rematch in 2020 and remains in office as of 2026. And so now let me back up to the very beginning. He was appointed sheriff in the very beginning. He wasn't elected. He took the position from a sheriff who resigned or
Retired. No, he retired.
He retired. Okay. This guy oversees 1,500 plus department employees under his command right now. You don't think those folks are going to try to bend the law? Not all of them. But you don't think, and thank goodness that one deputy who went out there and talked to those citizen journalists and said, hey man, I'm under orders to do this. And thank goodness he put it in his report, because that is why the district attorney suspended those cases.
Yeah, but the matter of the fact is one of mine is still up in the air, which is kind of frustrating. We'll take some calls here in just a second, guys. We'll get ready to post this number here on the live screen. Feel free to chime in on a phone call if you'd like.
There was no way in
South Adrian, by the way, big welcomes here.
On the earth that they were going to go after those individuals, because they knew it was on body camera and it was on video camera of what that deputy said. So what the deputy basically said was, my higher ups put me in a position of what they call under the color of authority. And that's civil rights violations. And I don't care who you are. If you're a dirty cop, you're giving folks like myself and many others a really bad look. And I'm
Overthinker, thanks for the comment. I'm not going to share that online here. He says, why are you putting up with it? Aren't you going to sue him, Alex? 857 altogether. You can't win if you guys don't fight for the win. I hope you guys do it. Even if we were going to sue him, that's not going to get him out of office. I really would like to get him out of office, not just, go about it in that way as far as suing the man, but I would love to figure out a way to get him out of there, period.
Glad that officer did the right thing by documenting it in his reports, and why the district attorney, to her credit, I have to give her credit, suspended those investigations. And why do I even bother with those concepts? Because this is on the heel of these types of violations, where the federal government comes in and does a RICO investigation. So what do you expect? There's a culture, is what I'm saying. There's a culture within inside of that agency that is driven by Sheriff Nanos. And we've experienced it. Karen and I have experienced it. And that's another conversation, but we'll get there. So what are the RICO and forfeiture funds? Karen, let's talk about the origin. Where did the money come from?
So money and property seized from criminals, excuse me, under federal RICO and civil forfeiture laws is then shared with local agencies. So that means that when they take in RICO money, it has to be spent basically on crime fighting.
Yep.
Do you agree?
Yeah, it has to be.
Okay, so the intended use, there's strict law on this. It is strictly used for policing, equipment, training, crime prevention, overtime. You have to use it. There has to be that direct benefit for crime fighting.
So you can't use it on parties, you can't use it on gifts, and you can't use it on personal benefits.
Yeah.
Okay, in any way, shape, or form. However, there was a loophole that the sheriff and others had been utilizing for many, many years. So give them a little high-level overview about what that loophole was.
So they routed funds through their nonprofit. It's the Sheriff's Auxiliary Volunteers account to sidestep federal limits. So what's the Auxiliary Volunteers? Those are basically the citizen volunteers who volunteer their time for no pay, and they work under patrol. Maybe they help with traffic or crowd control at events, or with patrol for certain certain situations. But these are citizens. These aren't even the reserve officers. These are just citizens. And there's the fund. They're called the Auxiliary Volunteers, and they have an account. And it's the duty and job of the sheriff to make sure that the monies that go in are spent correctly. And anyway, they routed this RICO money through that account. The FBI figured this out when they did their investigation. And I think it's also, I want to tell people that, so what did they do? Where did they spend the money? They bought personal items. They paid for awards ceremonies. And they bought items for 2 cafes that were run inside the sheriff's department. One's at headquarters, and the other one was at the jail. And these are for county employees. If you don't work, you can only go there and use it if you're with the sheriff's department, is my understanding. This isn't anything that the public...
Yeah, that's pretty terrible, Adrian. I mean, we didn't even come close to that petition that was established by Daniel Gutierrez, and it's quite sad. I mean, 15,000 and we needed 122,000 doesn't even come close. That's just sad. That's just sad. And it kind of says that a lot of people actually support Sheriff Nanos rather than, than not. Adrian says there's been a recent recall effort by Daniel Gutierrez, which gathered 15,000 votes so far under Arizona law. Gutierrez needs to gather an amount of over 120,000 signatures. It's hard, guys. Yeah, it is. And it's terrible to know that people really are supporting this, knowing that this is going on amongst the sheriff. I really don't get it. And we just watched yesterday things taking place in the jail. Nonetheless, there's been people in the jail who have, several people who have lost their life in the jail. And recently, we just had somebody die in the jail after being put in a restraint chair. And then, minutes after, coming back and checking on the person in the restraint chair, that person was dead. And it's unfortunate because if you've been there and you've experienced being in Pima County Jail, these people don't care about your medical history. They don't care about your medical they don't care about your well-being, period. They don't care. Yet they're in there walking around cursing and, playing around, making jokes of everything instead of taking it serious. They take it serious when something goes wrong in that facility. But they don't when somebody's literally, on the verge of, either dying or something really happening to them, on the medical side of things. That's just going to give them more to do instead of just evaluating the situation and getting the person the necessary help that they need. They're not. They're sitting there waiting till the worst thing out, happens, and then they have no excuse for the worst outcome in the situation. It's quite terrible to me. I just don't get, why they're handling the things that they're the ways that they're handling things, and I don't know why they're continuing to let this stuff continue on. And Sheriff Nanos' option was to make a whole new jail, which costs near $1 million. I don't even know where we would get that kind of money. But he claimed it would take about roughly 10 years to raise this amount of money to start, building a new jail. And supposedly one of the ladies that spoke out yesterday was one of the big reasons why they put a stop to, building the jail. So they were going to actually go forward with building the new jail. But Sheriff Nanos thinks that there would be a better outcome as far as, people dying in the jail if we get a new jail. Like, that's the most dumbest thing I've ever heard of. You address the staff that you're hiring. I mean, he pretty much said, no, he didn't pretty much. He actually said that we're just hiring people because we're understaffed and we have no choice but to just hire people. How do you just hire people and claim that they're good employees? That it just doesn't work like that. That makes no sense. And the way he claimed that they were very good employees is he said that they were very well trained. When I just don't agree with that. I don't think that just because somebody's well trained, it doesn't make them a good employee. It doesn't mean that they're following all rules and doing, their actual job. If that were the case, we would have never watched people in the videos being tased by multiple different people while detaining one person. You got 4 or 5, probably 6 people detaining one guy, and they don't even know how to properly detain somebody without putting their life at risk. You're hiring the wrong people. Not only that, you're comfortable and okay with these actions that are taking place in the Pima County Detention Center. That's not okay with me. That's not okay. I mean, and we saw it. The guy that interviewed the guy made it quite clear, just by his tone and the way he was, asking the certain questions that he was asking Sheriff Nanos, that, he really didn't agree with how things were being handled in the jail. And I don't think anybody does. No one wants to fear for their loved one, taking a field trip down to the Pima County Jail for an overnight trip or a couple weeks, couple months, and be worried about whether or not they're coming back home because people were dying or being killed in the Pima County Jail. That's not a good feeling, and that's a very bad look if you're a sheriff that's in charge of not only the Pima County Jail, but, sheriff in general, public servants, the guys that are rolling around in vehicles, patrolling and doing all the necessary police work. And it's only going to get worse if somebody doesn't do something about this or we don't figure it out as far as what we need to do moving forward to get this guy removed. But I feel like we've pretty much exhausted all options. I mean, there's got to be some other solution here to get this guy out of office. I mean, come on. Enough is enough. And it's getting overwhelming, and it's quite frustrating to have to sit here and keep seeing this. I'm honestly surprised somebody hasn't got upset to the point where they've tracked this guy down and tried to take his life. I mean, good grief. We got to figure out a way to stand up and get this guy out of there. Get rid of him. And I hope Savannah gets that message that, Chris was trying to send by telling her to pretty much to stop dealing with this guy. Report this guy. Do something. They're the ones, sitting here dealing with this guy. They're the ones that, have been putting up with this guy. And lo and behold, I truly hope they're not still communicating with Sheriff Nanos. I really don't. So sad, man. I would be putting the blame. If I was them, I'd be putting the blame on Sheriff Nanos. I would literally be telling the world right now, he is the exact reason why we haven't found Nancy Guthrie. And I've said this for the longest time. I mean, who else's fault is it? And I believe when we listen to those, those dispatch calls, that was him on one of those dispatch calls that were pointed out by Monk's Intrigue. It's the Juice.
Hi, Juice. It's Gertrude.
Hey, Gertrude. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I'm getting a little tired, but I'm good.
That's quite a stream you have tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing. Just a normal.
Those were some crazy videos you were showing there.
Yeah, that one
in the beginning.
That first one was a little. It was a little much.
No, I mean it was controversial. That's sometimes it's all right. You gotta look at everything.
Yeah.
Some of it was wild. Like I do remember when the guy was saying that Nolan Wells was hanging out with white guys to get to the white girls. That was wild and crazy. And I was looking and I see that the city he lived in was 80% white people. His high school was 70% white people. So if you're a social kid, that would explain your friend group right there. If I went to like a all Chinese high school, I'd probably know a bunch of Chinese people. So that was but the girl, Juice, girl who was saying how white guys ask white girls if they've ever been with a black guy.
Yeah.
That's crazy because you know what? They do that. And when they do that, you got to run. You got to run. And I'm going to tell you why they do it. Because it's a thing. If you continue to speak to those guys, it's only a matter of time before you go to their house and they all have like a weird cup chair sitting next to their bed, and they want to see a white girl with a black guy. It's gross. It's a whole thing. Whereas if advice to any white women, if a white man ever asks you that, run. There's something wrong with them.
Oh, I thought she meant if a black guy would ask that question.
No, obviously a black guy would ask because he wants to know if he's getting laid. But if a white guy, like the girl was talking about, if a white guy asks a white girl, have you ever been with a black guy? He's got a sick fetish about it,
Yeah, no, I could see
a cuck thing. Yeah, it's gross. There's something wrong with those guys.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But you think it's a race thing though? You really think the reason why
I don't.
he's no longer with us?
I don't. I think he was just around all those white kids because he went to a white high school. I also think because he hung out with all those white kids, he might have been doing white kid drugs. And those white kids like to take the pills. And it could have been an overdose. And his friends were just horrible people and just left him there.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, they let him down no matter what. Whether it was, but you hear crazy things like kids bring their little friend out to the woods and murder them. You know what I mean? You never know how terrible people can be. And you just don't know.
That's a good point, though. I agree. Yeah,
but
it's hard to say.
He's a baby, and I can't even presume to. No matter what happened, it's so horrible. A baby died. It's just a matter of how horrible. I'd like to know when the autopsy comes back so we can see what kind of drugs might have been involved, and I'd like to know if the other kids were drug tested.
Yeah, but even if it was drugs, that still doesn't really change. I mean, unless the drugs killed Nolan, then that would change everything. But I mean, it doesn't change the fact that he may have been murdered. If he was murdered by somebody, that still doesn't really,
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to do? Give him a lesser charge because he's, he was under the influence of a drug? I don't know. I don't know if that would be, I mean, it's possible.
No, but I mean, whatever drug. If he was doing drugs, the other kids were doing them too.
Yeah.
So that might kind of just let us know, like, what were these kids doing?
And why did nobody see nothing? Nobody seems to see, have saw anything. That's what's weird to me.
Yeah. It's so sad, Juice. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to think about, to talk about. It's horrible, but, it can't go unseen. Horrible shit can't go unseen.
Very true.
And you want us to see it, and you want to keep it out there, so I'm here with you on that. I'll just, I'm right here.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of time, though. It's a matter of time.
So the Nancy Guthrie now, Juice, I just don't even know what to think about this. The whole Nancy Guthrie situation.
Like, you're feeling like it's going cold now?
No, I don't think so, but I'm starting to think, what if I'm wrong?
As far as what?
Like, what if Savannah didn't do it? I've never even considered that.
Oh, that's right. You're a big believer on Savannah having something to do with it, yeah.
But, I mean, Annie could have done it.
That's
to
what the world
punish
thinks.
Savannah. She could have done it to punish her sister because she realized Savannah and Tommaso had a thing.
Uh-oh. Here you go with the...
Well, I mean, that's the only thing we know for sure. Is that only thing I know for sure is that Savannah and Tommaso had something going on. So no matter who did it, I feel like that has something to do with it.
But why would they take Nancy out, though? How would they have, why would Nancy be brought into the equation if they were, they had something?
I always thought Savannah and Tommaso did it because she found out and Nancy was going to expose them. But what if Annie found out, told her mom didn't believe her, then she's mad, plus, Savannah and Tommaso love the lady, so she's going to take her out to punish Savannah. Because it does seem like whoever did it is trying to punish Savannah. So then you think, what did Savannah do wrong? Well, I know what she did wrong.
I mean, but
I can't say it, but...
They're in two different states, so that would be... I don't know. I just don't see it considering they're both in two
it's just a plane right away, though, Juice. It's a plane right away.
Yeah, but I don't know. We don't know if they really visit much. I don't even know if Savannah really comes out here much, man. Maybe Annie goes out there. But I don't see it. I just don't feel like they have a very good relationship. I think if they're not in Italy or they're not in a hotel somewhere, they're probably staying with Cameron.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I still find it hard to believe the FBI would have told Tommaso right away, yeah, go ahead and leave the country. I mean, I don't think he's been cleared on that level to where they would tell him leave the country.
I mean, I think as long as you haven't been charged with a crime, they really can't tell you can't leave the country until you're, when you're being investigated. Yeah, but I don't think that they're. I mean, I think they're investigating all angles. I don't think they're just investigating them only. But we don't know what they have, so it's hard to say.
I'm investigating them. I think. Sorry, I'm high, Juice. But I really think there's no way that Savannah and Tommaso, but their little affair had nothing to do with it. I just can't believe it. I feel like it had to have something to do with it. So, well, I'm gonna let you take other calls because I know I'm your first call and people are waiting.
Nah, nobody's waiting. Nobody wants to call me tonight. I appreciate you
Yeah,
calling.
right. We all want to talk to the juice.
Nah, lately.
We stay up all night hoping to talk to the juice.
Lately, nobody's wanting to talk to me lately. They're tired of me, so.
Well, they better call, or I'll just keep calling over and over. No, I won't, Juice. I won't keep calling. I'll let you do your show, but I'll be right here watching.
All right, bust up, Gertrude. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for
All right,
calling.
bye, Juice.
Gertrude just won't let it go. She won't let it go. She still thinks that they had an affair. Like, what? They have not had an affair. There's no way those two had an affair. What are we going to do to get to convince Gertrude that Annie and Tommaso, or I'm sorry, Savannah and Tommaso have nothing going on with each other? That's not even Savannah's type. You know, Savannah likes white guys. Her history says she only likes white guys. I think the last guy she was with was a white guy. DJ says we can't really rule it out though, Juice. Oh, come on. I mean, we can't rule anything out. Technically, nothing can be ruled out. I mean, I could agree with it in that sense. But technically speaking, yeah, nothing could be ruled out. Shouts to everybody plugging in though. How many people we got tuning in right now, by the way? Much love to those of you guys tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoy the channel, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you haven't yet. I think I don't know how many likes we got. We probably don't have a whole ton. We got 274 likes, 409 people. It's not adding up, folks. We got to make sure some folks that are chiming in hit that like button. Let's go ahead and answer this call. This is the Juice.
Morning, Juice. It's me, Susan P.
Hey, what's up, Susan?
Hey, I called to catch you. I just woke up, sorry, and made my coffee. I wanted to tell you really quick, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I had a couple haters last time.
Oh, you're right.
For being too long and sounding a little nutsy, which I've told Mr. Sleuth before, I can be a little wackadoodle, even not on a Wednesday, but I called to tell you that the letter that Mr. A got, that lady is from Iran, just from Tehran. And I don't have my computer up right now. I'm sorry. I just woke up.
Mr. A,
She's
Mr.
from
A.
Iran. Mr. A. Criminal network.
Oh, okay.
Right. The letter he got, I felt like that it was like poking the bear. He had a guest on his panel that night that or the night before, or a couple of days before he had gotten that letter, but he had a panel and there was a guest on there that talked about a cousin. And right after that panel talk is when he got that letter telling him to cease and desist. And so it made me a little nervous too, but the information that I saw was whenever JLR had gotten those names on that list, and Alex had posted a Twitter or an X comment. I think that's what they call Twitter now is X. He made an X comment where they had where he had responded to them on the online. Well, the information that I had skip traced was that that woman is from Tehran, and she has a background in like blood pathology, and she owns a large company called Tama Research here in the United States. And the two people that represent themselves, they almost kind of come across as like brother and sister, but they represented themselves as husband and wife that own that company. They are in the newspaper. Back in 2017, I think they had an article about their whole company and everything.
Yeah.
And the information shows that that individual connected to those names are connected to the signs. The signs that showed up all around Tucson that the police took down and they took into evidence. Do you remember those signs?
Yeah, with the license plate, the yellow signs that were put around. Yeah.
The name on the sign was Shemek.
Yeah. I remember
Shemek
that.
was the matriarch of the family. And the matriarch of the family, I believe that they were saying that the reason why they put out those signs was they were trying to draw attention to their own case. Well, I almost kind of feel like that person that put those signs out was either trying to give a clue or they were trying to draw attention to their own case. But that woman was the matriarch of the family, and the names are connected through an in-law marriage back about a generation or two generations ago. And one of the things that I noticed is that they're either taking identity and stealing the identity, or they're an actual in-law marriage into the family. We have family, like all my family is white. We have family members that have been part of our family through marriage, and they're not white. They're of an Asian descent, right?
Yeah.
And so this was that connection. And the connection on those names, also those individuals' connection to a big person that's over at the university. The person over at the university owns a lot of property, a lot of land. And the only thing that I wanted to say, because I'm kind of getting a little sidetracked, and I apologize for that. I have a brain tumor. I was in a car accident.
You're good.
But that those signs are connected to all those names. And Alex is right. All those names is that same person, and then she has some more names. So for me, I'm very concerned about America in general, period. Because when you think about it and you think of all of the picture in a great big analysis, I'll read it off to you, Juice. We have 17 or more scientists that are missing all around that area. Nancy Guthrie is gone. They arrested the woman that was selling goods and bombs and all of that in Iran in Los Angeles. Then the man in Los Angeles gets on a train a week later, rides that train over to where the president is, and he tries to kill the president. He doesn't kill the president. Then they arrest another man. He's aged 60-something years old. This is another thing that I've noticed, that these individuals that, from my own research, for my own curiosity, they seem to be within the same age group, the retirement age group. It's almost as if it's like the ones that are leaving the world is where they're trying to like take their name and take their property and take their whole existence, you know? And this woman that's on the sign, when she passed away, bless her soul, when she passed away, she was 84, 82.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, back to the gentleman. You got the guy at the age 62 doing the same thing, firearms and bombs and stuff like that. And they arrested him in Scottsdale, Arizona, okay? And in Scottsdale, Arizona, that news footage about him was that they are catching these people and they're hiding behind the United Arab Emirates. They're hiding behind, in other words, they're trying to make it seem like it's another set of people when it's not.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I wanted to say is learning how to trade. You know how you play the charts? It's not really play the charts, but you do an analysis and you trade your asset in order to make money.
Yeah.
Well, the most recent big thing that all the traders did, where they got together and did a big brouhaha thing. Oh yeah, we a trader. They did all of that in Dubai. Dubai is the crypto capital of the world. America is not crypto capital of the world. America is Bitcoin.
So that person that reached out to Alex with that letter that wasn't an attorney, that was just that person.
I don't know if they were attorney. Their letter looked official. In other words, their letter looked like it. God makes it clear about anything that you want cemented in stone. You write it down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this individual has presented an official letter of some sort. But even the person who submitted the letter is questionable. Even with Mr. A, it's questionable.
Yeah.
I just think when you take a look back, when you take a step back, because I'm not there, I can't get into the minute details like what Boots on the Ground is doing with the porch guy and with the rug and with the grass and I can't do all that part because I don't live in Arizona. My skill is only in the connection. And that's what I'm seeing as the connection. And I'm not so sure about there may be this possibility with the cousin, okay, with a cousin. And I think there might be that possibility that's being explored. But I would just spin it a little bit and say, what if not TNA cousin? What if it's a cousin on the other side? Because I've got a cousin on the other side, and the only cousin that he put on his social profile was A.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only one he got. So if you're a cousin to a whole family, why you don't have S on there? Why you don't have C on there? You only got A.
That's a good point.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point. So do you
And
think
everything
that
I'm telling you, Juice, is all connected to Nancy. I took no information that was not public. It's all public information. They just haven't put it together. And I have tried to, reach out before, but I sound so damn stupid when I get on the
I
phone.
remember
I
because
get nervous.
you had told me
what I'm
this
saying?
last time. Yeah.
Yeah. I
so-
just don't articulate well. I
you-
lost my job because of my cancer.
No, you say it well. I'm sorry you lost your job. No, that's not good.
Yeah, I lost
Well, you can't
a
help
very
that,
good job
though.
that I loved.
What'd you do for a living?
Yeah, I was a government representative. That's really all I can say because I did my official right to complain, and I really can't talk about it because I don't want to be in trouble. It's made me scared every single time that I've called because I don't want to be in trouble. But I know that
I'm sorry to
I
hear
just
that. That's
know
so sad.
that America will find this woman and where she's at. My mama fell after I got my Social Security awarded to me, so I'm having to take care of her full now, and I'm in so much pain. My back is hurting me because I have the same thing that Senator Lindsay has, and so I don't go anywhere. I just stay home.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that woman
Well,
threatens Alex because they don't want us to know the truth. And they don't, I feel like they are the puppet masters, you know, like, now, you're right. They could have been, don't talk about us. We don't want to be involved. We don't want a lawsuit. We don't want it. But I just think it's really interesting, Juice, how everything has been so quiet. And the moment that it's discussed and a panel guest, it wasn't even Alex, it was a panel guest that mentioned what he was mentioned, they got scared that he would be so close. Now, the guy has never come back on. Criminal Network's never done an update or anything about what he said, but they got that letter immediately. And, you know, I've never been able to have an honor of meeting Mr. A or being able to tell him how close on track he is, because this individual at the university not only owns land in Arizona, he owns land in California. And it's the reason why we're seeing the back and forth to California and Arizona, and yet nobody can pinpoint anything. And then the last thing I forgot to tell you was there's some women that are connected to Nancy. And they are designers, builders, women of real estate in that area. And I looked them up. And the address for one business wasn't her business. It was to another business. But what caught my eye was when I looked it up, and I'm not going to try to give no troller how I did it. When I looked it up, the first car that I saw that was parked there was a red Corvette. I was like, oh, no way. And I was telling myself, they photoshopped it, you know, they changed the color, you know.
yeah.
I was so for sure. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, it's a red Corvette, you know. But then you have an opportunity to look at that same location in 2025, 2024, 2023, 2022, in 2019, in 2022, and in 2024, white Corvette parked at that location. And I'm thinking, why? Why over there? And when what's his name got his flowers stolen and they were pinging all over the place, they were driving over at a hotel right over there where I had found that vehicle in my information.
What vehicle?
And Corvette.
Oh, the red Corvette you're talking about? Okay.
The red Corvette, but the red Corvette was the most recent. All the other Corvettes that were there was the white one.
Did it look like Sheriff Nanos' Corvette, or?
It was Sheriff Nano's Corvette, unless I have the license plate, because it doesn't show you the license plate.
Yeah.
Who else rides around in a white Corvette in Arizona?
I mean, there's a lot of Corvettes out here, but I don't know if that's, you know.
That's right. Like I said, I'm not in Tucson or in Arizona, so I don't got these little details. In other words, I don't have a fingerprint that would put a nexus together. I don't have this or that minute detail, but the car was there. And when I saw that the car was there, I was like, okay, this person is connected to her, and this person is showing up at their location, and this person is connected to this lady, and this lady's information is not the same as this lady. This lady is EM something, and this lady is not EM something, but the address that you pull up for this lady comes out to be this lady where the vet has been showing up, and all of them are connected to this one builder, and this one builder is also connected to Nancy.
Interesting. So do you think that those, this person is that the actual porch guy or the person that took Nancy? I feel like you think this is, this is the person. They're just covering it up.
I feel that's the circle. I feel
Yeah.
there's a circle there. I feel like I don't feel like he was at a game to enjoy a fucking game a week after, because when Savannah was making that second announcement about we understand and we need our mother back, this is very valuable to us and we will pay. He was at the damn game. And I thought to myself, why are you at a game? And he didn't look. Fox caught the video of him walking out of that game behind some man. And I have yet to figure out who that man is. And that man, I feel like, is who he showed up to make a report to. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not going to be able to get that money, or I'm not going to be able to do, something like that, because she did now. It's like, it's literally, that's what I felt like when I saw him at that game. I thought, okay, are you making a report to somebody about what has happened, that the whole shit is blowed up in your face? You didn't realize it's going to be this big? And I could just hear that guy saying, oh, well, you're going to have to clean this mess up. And as they were walking out of that game, he pointed to the sheriff, told him, pointed upwards, like into the rafters, like, that's where we're going to meet, or I'll talk to you over there, or whatever. But he pointed, and the sheriff nodded, and, they were standing there waiting for the crowd to go by. And as soon as he got out, and he went up those stairs really fast, and then the sheriff got stuck, and he was standing there for a few minutes before he could get out and walk past the people in the opposite direction that the people were going. I thought that was strange. And I don't have enough information to absolutely 100% say it is this person, it is not that person, because I'm far away, and I don't I'm just armchair like a lot of individuals, and I don't have my hands like right in the bucket. I'm only on the side. And Snoop was out there yesterday or the day before, and he was looking at the property.
I saw
and
that.
I believe that when you're facing Nancy's house and you're standing at the mailbox, if you walk down to the left of the mailbox facing the house, and you walk down to the left to the other end of her driveway, okay? So let's say you take a car and you go in her driveway by the mailbox, you come out her driveway the other side. If you walk down to that end of the driveway, there's a tree. It's not a cactus, it's a tree. It looks like it's a dead tree. It's kind of a creepy looking tree, but there's a tree there on that corner. And there's a whole bunch of brush and stuff right there. I believe that that's where the second perp was standing, because in the video it looks like he keeps like peeking out from behind, and then goes back behind the bush, and then he peeks out behind again while the porch guy is on there, and then he dips back behind the bushes again. When that porch man reached down to get that brush or whatever, I feel like when he looked back, that's where he was looking, was right there to that spot where the guy, that's where I think he was standing. And I do think that there was a car there. I think that when he looked back or whatever, that was the indication to let them know, you know, bring the car around, or he's getting ready to go in the house, bring the car around, or because he looked back at that spot. And they were trying to debunk that it was a sign, you know, because there was a silver sign there and everything. And the thing that I noticed was that they hung a wind chime right there in that line of view from that spot to the front porch that I was telling you about. Now, if you shine a light on that wind chime at nighttime, it'll make a reflection, right? Because it's got those little silver things that hang down that make the noise when the wind blows. I feel like somebody like hung it there on purpose so that later on they could say, oh, well, that was just a defection of the wind chime for those two lights that are there on the corner of the lot that everybody has been, you know, trying to figure out. Was it a car?
I've never seen a wind chime there. That's crazy. Where's the...
And if you zoom it up really, because I can only zoom to so far and then it pixelates on me. But if you zoom it up real close, you can watch it. It looks like somebody peeking out from behind the bush, and then they go behind the bush again. And then they're peeking out again, watching him as he's on the porch, and he turns around and he looks at him, and they step back again behind the bush.
Wait, you said somebody put a wind chime up there somewhere?
Yeah, when Sleep was out there day before yesterday, I saw it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in the video. Okay.
And they left one yellow ribbon. They left one yellow ribbon on the pole, and then up in the yard, in that same line of sight, I'm telling you, the same line, they hung a wind chime midway in that line of sight. They hung it on a tree right there. And I just know, like, you gotta know.
Yeah, I think it's somebody that could have went by the house, though, that just...
What's that?
I think it just could have been somebody that went by the house and put that up. Otherwise, you know, somebody's back living there.
Yeah, but it's way up in the yard. It's way up in the yard.
Where is it at exactly?
It's if you were to walk up into her yard, past the three giant cactuses in the front, it would be in the middle, behind those three cactuses, going to, like if you're looking at her house, it's going to be behind those three giant cactuses, and it's hanging on a tree or another light pole or something right there in the middle of the yard. But if you go to the corner of the yard, where I believe the guy is standing, then the wind chime is hanging in the middle of the line of sight between that corner and the porch. It's hanging on a tree or something. It has like a yellow flower on top.
Yeah, I can hear him back there, guys.
It has silver wind chimey things hanging down. And I never did see it. You know, like I'll have to go back and see if it was hanging there all this time, you know. And then when they took down the memorial, they just didn't take it down. That is a possibility, but I just thought it was kind of weird how they have that one ribbon that they left, and then they had that one wind chime.
Yeah, that ribbon's been there. They just haven't removed that ribbon. I honestly think that wind chime's probably just been there this whole time, and we really haven't noticed it. I don't think really anybody's been there at all. And if they have, they were just in and out. But I don't really think much people have been to that house. I mean, I haven't been there to say, but I truly don't think there's nothing going on there anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's all that I wanted to add. That's all that I come up with so far. If I come up with anything else, or if I come up with a definite, absolute, I would call. I would, but yeah, I feel that they feel threatened. Sleuth community will find what has happened, or I feel like they also tried to trick us with the New Mexico thing, and that died out. That everything they keep trying to bring all this up about, oh, we found this, or this is related to Nancy Guthrie, but there's nothing ever told or anything about Nancy Guthrie. There's never any arrest or anything. So I feel like it's all been a deploy to keep us off of it. I think that the picture is so much more bigger. I wish that I could be a part of the boots on the ground. It's just not my calling. But I think y'all are all doing a great job, and I wish you all well.
Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts with me as well. I'll take a look into that and see if I see the charm thing or the chime things over there. I was looking right now, but I don't see anything. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like all this stuff has been there. I don't really think much has happened, or as much has been, anything has been put at the house at all. I think Sleuth was saying he heard somebody in the back, but I don't know. He could have been confusing that with some, one of the other neighbors, because I always see her loud neighbor behind Nancy somewhere.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that I would just like to be clear that I'm not saying that they just now put that wind chime there. If they had done that to deflect, I would believe that it is like they would have put it there early on when all of the chaos and the stuff was going on, and it was not noticeable that they would have put it there. Like they did it in the middle of the chaos when people were not paying attention. So
yeah, it's possible. It's a possibility.
Yeah. Okay, Fat Kitty, I'm going. Thank you, Juice, and I hope you have a great day.
All right, you too. I hope you have better days as well. I'll be praying for you.
Take care.
All right, bye. Well, shouts to her calling in. I always appreciate her calls. I just couldn't keep up because there was so many. She was talking about so many things at once. That's the second time she had explained that story to me about the gentleman that Alex had brought up, the guy that came by at one point in time, and he was saying that he had mistaked 857 for TMZ, that everyone was very suspicious about. And a lot of people kind of started to think this guy was the, Ports guy. Supposedly it turns out that person was one of the 5 names that were given by JLR. Well, JLR was, obviously got that from somebody. And then he passed it down to, everybody else. And I think we talked about it for a brief moment, and then after that, everybody just kind of moved on from it. We kind of just started to overlook that whole situation. But, Alex kind of re-brought it up, and he pointed out the person and the person's mother, and they didn't really like that, so they had either got a legal team together and pretty much was giving Alex a warning, telling him to not, put their name out there. I guess they didn't want to deal with any of that, for whatever reason. But since I really haven't seen him bring it up too much. So that's pretty much it. I mean, according to the yellow signs that she brought up, I think she was saying that those names all match to the same person, which is, it's possible. I mean, then that guy kind of had similarities with the Ports guy, but I mean, everybody has similarities to the Ports guy. As far as the house, guys, I really don't think there's much going on in that house. I really don't. I don't think there's anybody there. I don't think anybody's really coming by very often. I just don't see it. I truly think a lot of people are pretty, they overthink when it comes to the house a lot, especially if there's any little type of thing that happens. A lot of people are just, I think they're overthinking it. We don't have to be suspicious every time that somebody goes to the house or we suspect somebody being there. I get it. There's, only one lady that lived there, which was Nancy, and she's no longer there. I get all that. But at the same time, I don't think no one's like not allowed there. People can go. Some people are going to be in and out. They've got a guy hired to go in and out of the home and do whatever he does. I don't know. I've seen this guy on the roof. I've seen him go in the back, and they said he's watered the plants. I don't know. I don't know really what to expect with the house anymore. I don't really see anything happening, though. I don't really see I honestly don't even know if I see it ever being a crime scene again at this point. Unless, Nancy, it turns out that Nancy's in one of those septic tanks. I don't see anything else ever happening at that house again. I think the only thing that's going to happen with that house is either going to eventually get sold, or maybe, just maybe, Annie and Tommaso are going to move into that home. But why? Because their home is to me, it's a little nicer than Nancy's on the inside. But that's just me. But both of their homes are fairly equal size, I would say. So, the difference is, well, I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. Forget it. I guess the only difference is Nancy's home is actually bought. Annie and Tommaso are still buying their home. So they would obviously save more money if they were to move into Nancy's, and it wouldn't be as expensive. But I don't know. I don't really see that happening. I really don't. I don't really see them moving into Nancy's house, because you got to think, if Annie and Tommaso move into Nancy's house at any point in time, it really doesn't matter when it is, they're going to have a very hard time living there. Imagine, because this is the last place that Nancy was actually at. And based on how the world feels about them, I honestly wouldn't recommend it if I were them to move into Nancy's anytime soon. So if they're going to move into Nancy's, it's going to be a long time from now. That's for sure. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'll put the number up here. I'm going to get ready to get off here pretty soon here. So feel free to chime in if you guys want to chime in here. We'll take a couple more calls before we end it off here. I got work in the morning, well, the next 4 hours. So, and I'm getting fairly tired too. So if you feel the need to chime in and call in, please do. I'd love to hear from you. Tomorrow, guys, I think I'm going to be out here talking to people, showing people the flyers. If I don't make it tomorrow, because I might take the day off for just the day, I don't know yet, I will be out there Tuesday. So either tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll be out showing the flyers. I might go make a couple more copies tomorrow. That's probably what I'm gonna do, because I don't think I have enough to give them away. And plus, I have some pretty expensive copies that they are not getting, because some of them are like made out of cardboard. They're not getting those copies. Those ones will be the ones that I leave at like businesses if I go buy any businesses. Trying to get to this call. Oh, come on. Try to make it there. This is Juice.
Hey, Juice. How are you?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Good. This is Lori. We spoke many times.
I think I remember you.
Remember, I'm the one that said that I thought the porch guy was a decor, that there's no way that he was the cleanup man.
I think so. Your voice sounds so familiar. I don't know if I remember by name, but the voice sounds
Okay.
really familiar.
But I'm watching the show, and like I agree with you. There's no one going to move into that house right now. It wouldn't be safe for anybody to move in because the eyes are all on the house.
Yeah.
I do have big respect for you by you coming out with that statement when you knew that Alex was going back there, when you said, I'm not. I feel there's no need to go back there right now. I give you all the respect in the world for that because you don't want to continue putting the eyes on the home when setting out there. We're not going to see her get out of a car and walk into the driveway.
No.
And I just said to my husband probably a couple days ago that I was glad to find out, you know, that those other stupid charges against you were dropped.
One of them.
Because they were the dumbest. Coming from a law enforcement family, those were the dumbest charges I've ever seen in my life.
They
The
really
dumbest.
are. Yeah.
They were. That was a waste of time. That was taking eyes off. And I don't think intentionally that it was towards, they knew they didn't have a case, but I think they just wanted to tell people, you know, more or less give the message out. Stop going to the neighborhood. Stop. Let these people heal or move on or whatever. My thing is, are you going to be covering a lot of the Wells case?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing both, but yeah, I'll be covering Wells.
Okay. I think this is going to be, that's the new one that everybody's going to be wanting to tune into because that one's going to be, that's just a mystery and sad.
Yeah, it is. But I don't think this case is going to go as nowhere near long as Nancy's case is already going, but.
No. This case is, Nancy's case is so strange that they haven't been able to come up with anything unless they are doing it and they don't have enough evidence. I just don't get it. I don't understand how this lady could be missing for so long and no one knows what happened.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But that's what I wanted to just, I haven't talked to you in a while, but I just wanted to reach out and tell you all prompts to you. And if I can't stand to go on anybody's live streams and when they hear them degrade you or talk about you, because what they're forgetting is the respect that you had after you got that message from the local sheriff's department. The respect that you had when you knew that people were going to start going back out there again, when you were like, I'm not going out there in the neighborhood. I'm going to keep her name out there, but I'm going to do it from here. All respect.
Yeah. Oh,
all respect
I
for you.
appreciate that. Yeah, I just don't think it's just not the same no more. Without the memorial site or anything, it's just not, I don't know.
No, it's like you're sitting in front of an empty house that's not going to lead to finding her. You're going to have traffic because you've got that trustee that has to come in and check on the house and do whatever he does. You know, and of course they're going to keep the pool and everything maintained and the property looking decent because you don't know what's going to happen down the road if they're going to sell or you know, what's going to. I just don't see any family member moving in there. But then again, you're talking about, if they don't find a body, you're talking about 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, it would be a
you know,
long
because the
time.
trustee they have to have some evidence before the trustee is going to turn anything over.
I agree, and especially if they feel like their life is endangered. I mean, that would be a pretty stupid idea to go to Nancy's or move into Nancy's if you're Annie and Tommaso.
Yes, because they have a child.
And then they're
So they're
really
not
going to
going to
give
put their
us a
child in
reason to go
danger.
back there, because then we're going to be trying to ask them questions.
Right. They're not going to be able to go outside in the front yard to pick a flower without being photographed, without someone yelling something. I just don't see it. I think that is more or less like a dead end road there, kind of. You know, like, what's the purpose? Why would I want to put myself, if I am truly grieving over my mother, why would I put myself into wanting to go into her home, knowing she was taken from that home, wondering if I'm going to be the next target, or, you know, I'm not going to be able to walk out in my front yard without someone saying something. So I agree with you on that one, big time.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go back out there. I mean, I would go back. If I were to go back out there, it would probably just be to prove my point as far as like standing up for my rights. And that's all I'd be going out there for. I would not make it about Nancy anymore at that point.
Right.
Which
right.
you know, which I should. But I mean, I feel like other people like Criminal Network are pretty much doing that for me. You know, it's not going to make it any better if I go do it with him or go do it without him there. I feel like a lot of other people are doing that for us, like Sleuth Intuition just went. So that's enough for me.
Yes, and not just that, but what happened with him with that car. Don't put yourself in danger to try to prove a point when everybody knows your point is right on. We all know you're right. We know you've never violated them. But to even put yourself in kind of a danger, that neighbor, whoever that neighbor is, you know, who's saying next time if they're not going to hit them?
Yeah, and we would do. That's what we would deal with that all the time too. I mean, there was always that was always happening to us there at Nancy's. There was always people rolling by extra close just to try to, you know, make us. I don't know if they were trying to make us scared or what, or they was just kind of trying to tell us, look, we don't want you here. I don't know, but that happened all the time.
And I mean, you know, you got to think about it. It's been so long since let's say February 1st, just say. Even the person that probably did this is no longer around. They're done gone.
Yeah.
They didn't get what they wanted. It went. The kidnapping went south. They're not going to hang around, and just in case something does come back to them, they're done. They're gone.
Yeah, like I would make sure I'm in a country where it's going to be very difficult to come get me if you really want me.
Absolutely.
If you can even find me. And by now, I probably would have looked like a completely different person.
Yeah. There's
you know what I'm
too
saying?
Much time, yeah.
So I don't know if it's,
they're not going to. If it's the guys up the street, they're surely not up the street no more. You know, if they were smart enough to do what they did and it went south, they're like, oh, I'm out of here. I'm gone. If they get any kind of evidence was left in that home, any DNA, I'm done. They're long gone. And the saddest thing about it is, if, you know, there's so many ways they could send in information. Just give somebody whereabouts where you dumped her.
Yeah. I wish they would. I really wish they would.
But anyways,
I'm hoping
I'm not
they do
gonna
when
keep
they
you
find this guy.
Right, because I know your time difference is like 3 hours from me, and it's early in the morning. You got to work, but I just wanted to touch bases. It's been a while since we spoke, and keep doing the great work you're doing, Juice.
I appreciate that a lot, and I appreciate you calling in as well. And just thank you for all your love and support. Much love to you.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, shouts to her calling in. I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, something tells me too sometimes, like, this person probably is long gone at this point. You know, it's just been too long, guys. You know, and I think that's why I think people are hopeful that it is, you know, a family member, and not to wish anything bad on them. But I think some people are like, man, I think that's the only way we're going to find this person. But at the same time, don't lose hope, because you'd be surprised how stupid criminals are. You know, some of these people, you know, will stick around for years and then finally get caught. So, You know, everything's still in the air, you know. But for me personally, I you know, I don't know, something tells me that if they figure this all out, it's going to come down to some type of law enforcement involvement. I just don't see any way around it not being that. And I feel like someone with the idea of a cover up would be somebody in law enforcement. Otherwise, this is just a super intelligent person and they came up with a master plan that has been effective for 170 plus days now. I mean, it's been 5 months. So this plan fell through pretty good if you're the perp. Otherwise, this person is just super, super lucky right now. But I guess only time will tell, right? Albert says, remember that woman? She was yelling at JLR and the girls saying they had no right to film her on public street. But she came up to them cursing, then drove off with tires screeching. I don't think I've seen that. Ooh, thirsty. I love hearing the kids in the background. Dang, I'm surprised you're not annoyed. I'm just like, my God. I guess when you have to hear it all day is when you'll start to really get overwhelmed. Dogman, Big Welcome says Savannah sacrificed her to the media for new contract. Dang. That's deep. I don't know if I could agree with that one. Jeez. Sometimes I think, imagine if this was your mom and there were people that blew this whole thing out of proportion, and then, you know, 1 minute everybody thought, you know, everybody believed you, and then next thing you know, months later, they don't even, you know, no one's buying your story anymore. You know, now they're starting to think it's you because they can't figure out answers at all or figure out anything. That's how I feel about it. It's like, I don't know, man. It just sucks to see that, you know, because if it does turn out that Savannah really doesn't have anything to do with this, and we have people now saying that Savannah does, that sucks. That must suck, you know, for someone who's dealing with, you know, grief. And, you know, people in the world are, you know, they have the audacity now to say, hey, you know, I think Savannah's got something to do with this. She might be the one who's like covering this thing all up. She would have more of a better chance than anyone else. I could say that because of the resources and just the sources in general that she has. She would definitely have more of a chance of getting away with it than anybody else. And I think because that makes more sense than most other things, people would agree with that. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I turned the volume up to here. You guys talking about the kid? My kid in the background? You will miss it, Juice? What will I miss, DJ? I'm now singing the Wiggle song for some reason. Apples and banana? Is that the Wiggle song? Oh, God, guys. Lord have mercy. Oh, my God. Hot potato, hot potato. Is that what the song is saying? I'm so confused. Les Phantom says, I'm wondering if the perp is even still alive or from another country. No one recognized him. Come on, this stinks. I know. I don't know. I have no idea. It's so hard to tell, with that ski mask that he has on, and the fact that he didn't even come up in the database. I have no idea. And another thing too is I feel like most burglars usually already have some type of history. So I don't know. Also, another thing is if this is, let's just say that hair that, let's say this person had a mask under that mask and that hair wasn't real. And that's one of the hairs that they collected. Can this lab determine whether or not, the hair is real or not? Will their machine detect something like that? And I will only assume, right? Advanced technology. I would only assume that it would, but I can't call it. Do the propeller? I don't know what that means. Maybe that's a song. We need to hear from Little Juice now. I don't think Little Juice is going to say much. That's about all he's going to say if you can hear him right now. No? Yes? No? Poop. Poop. See, he's ignoring me on purpose. Poop. Hello?
TJ.
He's ignoring me. Can you say Nancy? Say Nancy? Say Nancy.
Say Nancy.
Huh?
Say Nancy.
Can you say Nancy? No? Yes, no, maybe so?
Say Grandma.
He's just staring at me right now. He doesn't even want to say anything.
He's about to come message me now.
Poop. See if I was trying to get him to say Nancy. He won't say anything, guys. He acts like he can't talk now all of a sudden. He's only one, so.
He said, "Oh my God."
Hey. Hey. Can you say Nancy? Huh? Can you say Nancy? Huh? Say Nancy.
He said, "What are you doing?"
Say Nancy. Can you say it? Say Nancy. Huh? Bro. Come on, because I got to go. Can you say Nancy?
Hi.
No, I didn't say hi. I said say Nancy.
Daddy.
It was close enough, but Nancy.
Daddy.
No, Nancy.
Daddy.
There we go.
Yay.
Good job.
Say Grandma.
Okay, bye.
Daddy.
No. Bye. See you later, alligator.
Doing.
Don't have kids, guys. Where's my ibuprofen at? My head is starting to panic. Pound, I mean.
All right, it's time to stop it.
My head is starting to hurt, guys. It's already hurting.
Indeed.
You need to go to bed. Wait, give me the belt.
Stop. It's not funny.
You want me to get the belt?
He's playing, you guys.
Huh?
Daddy, stop.
Daddy, stop.
Got well.
Huh?
For me. I got it.
You gonna say something real quick? You're gonna tell everybody bye?
Huh?
You gonna say something?
Say bye.
Here, listen, hold on.
Say bye, chat.
Hello? Hold on. It's not working. Hold on, man. I don't hear anything at all. I think you broke my headphones. You broke it. You broke it. You broke everything. Now it's not working because of you.
Could see.
Wait a minute. It's not working. I don't hear anything. Hold on.
She's spot. Loading. But info.
I don't know why my sound is not acting right, guys. I can't even hear my No, I know I'm coming through right on everybody else's end, but my sound is not coming through properly the way I need to hear it. It's all like screechy and
Zerelia.
messing up here. But that's okay, because I'm going to get ready to get off here anyways. But everything sounds all crazy. But that's okay, I'll fix it another day. I'll fix it tomorrow. Just trying to make sure this stuff was turned off because my voice is probably changing. Fix it tomorrow. I tell really loud. Yell. What? We're not gonna yell. No, it's just my something's like interfering with my sound. What in the what? That's the weirdest thing. I was trying to reset my headphones real quick. Let's see if this works.
No more squeaky.
Yeah, we're good. All right. I just had to reset them. I'm like, what is going on? And everything's all low. Hello.
Hello. Hi. How's everybody doing? Okay. My sound is working fine. This is my voice. This is how I talk. It's me, Juice. Okay. Just making sure everybody can hear me correctly. Okay. Now we can continue, you guys. We can continue. Where are we? Oh, that's right. That's what I was saying. So, Sue Intuition, he actually went to Nancy's the other day. And so the police got called. And so he stood his ground. Like, he was not having it at all. And the first thing he said when they approached him was, I don't need nothing from you. Like, I don't need your help. Because they were acting like they were all, like, concerned about his safety, dude. Like, let's have some go.
Hello?
This is Juice.
Hey, Juice. What's up, man? It's Bruce.
Hey, how you doing, Bruce?
Hey, I just wanted to call just for a second, man, and just keep wishing you some prayers, brother. You know, I hope everything else works out for you.
Hey, I appreciate that.
I appreciate what you did. So
Much love,
I don't
man.
got a whole lot. I just appreciate you. So you're a cool dude. You're respectful. You were respectful out there. You didn't disrespect anybody. You were always nice to everybody that you know came in contact with you, whoever it was.
Man, I appreciate that. Yeah, I try. At least I tried to be. I mean, I know there's been a couple times where Sue Ellen has came by, and I guess I didn't always have the nicest comments. I think the worst thing I've ever said about Sue Ellen was she was being a douche at one point in time. So I guess that wasn't nice. But other than that, I mean, I didn't call her that to her face. I said it to the folks on the stream because she was always trying to, you know, kick people out or tell them they couldn't park there, demanding that, you know, she'd call the police on them. But other than that, you know, yeah, I was highly respectful of all of the neighbors.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate you acknowledging that.
You know, I mean, there's not. I didn't see. I mean, okay, like, all right. So you accidentally said, you know, she's that. Like she literally was out there, like, being like the parking police. Like, I think we all understand that. You know, we understand what the neighbors and we get it. But what's wrong with going out every once in a while and making and putting the person's name out there? I don't think this should be too big of a deal. You know, it isn't like you're staying out there all day and all night every single day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not only that, she was so involved that I think she should have known at that point we were telling other people about her, like to just be aware of her. Like it was to the point where she didn't even need to say anything anymore. You know, I don't know, but you know, I tried my best to be respectful as I
You can only
could.
do your best, bro. You know, and you're gonna have people that they're not gonna like it. I get her side, I get your side, but you know, I wish maybe if they would have come, even with the sheriff or something, the HOA and them, and said, "Listen, you guys, you know, let's come to a common ground thing here, and these are the, you know, like, you want to come out here, this is the time, you know, agree on a
Yeah,
time,
yep.
and then just let it go.
Yeah, they didn't even try to negotiate anything to try to make it, better for us all. It was pretty much pick a side. That's the saddest part about it. We could have even came to some type of agreement to make it better for the neighbors, so that way there was less complaints. So they, let's just say we all decided to come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They would never get any complaints throughout, specific days of the week. It's just sad. Did you hang up on me? That's how you feel, Bruce? Damn, Bruce. I was just getting somewhere, man. Oh, man. I think his phone might have died or something. Much love to you, Bruce. I appreciate you calling in, man. I appreciate you acknowledging the fact that I did my best as far as being respectful in the neighborhood. I've really never been disrespectful to any of the neighbors at all whatsoever. And it's just sad to see, how the news station, tried to make us look. That's what, bothered me. They made it seem like I was out there cursing out neighbors and talking to neighbors crazy, which wasn't the case. But the fact of the matter is everybody knew, and I think that's what matters at the end of the day. And no one, even the neighbors knew. I mean, any of the neighbors who've ever interacted with me knew that I wasn't there to, cause anything or, make anybody upset. Some of the people didn't like the fact that, when we were all out there together, I did the moonwalk at one point in time, and it was understandable when somebody brought that to my attention. I was like, you know what, I'll move, they should, they had it suggested, and they were like, you know what, Juice, you could do that, on another street, or you could do that down the street a little bit, just not in front of Nancy's. And I was like, you know what, good idea. I could definitely do that. And the fact that I'm saying this is because, I'm open to, people having better ideas just out of respect for, other people's wishes that they assume, Nancy would not like. Even though, no one knew Nancy or what she liked, people were speaking for Nancy for the most part, saying, oh, Nancy wouldn't like that. And that's just an assumption, right? You can't really say what Nancy wouldn't like because nobody really technically knows her. But anywho, on that note, guys,
I am signing out. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. It's your boy, the Juice. Until next time, folks, have a lovely, lovely night.
God, I just love that. Maybe we should just sound like that all the time, man. I just love that. Much love to you guys. I appreciate everybody chiming in. God bless you guys all. Hope you guys have a great Monday. I know it's Monday. I know. We'll see you guys all later on this evening, man. God bless, guys. I'll see you next time.
We won't bow down. Yeah. They shut the gate too fast. Call it peace, call it class. But I see who they wave through, and I see who they ask to move. Porch lights on the same old block, same old story, same old talk. If your skin says you don't belong, they can make a wrong look strong. But the fences don't define us, and the fear they feel will blind us. Every face they try to hide still stands right here tonight. Keep us out, keep us out. Keep us out. We know what that is about. always built on loans. They pointed brown hands first, then pretend they don't rehearse. But the steps on every street carry more than whitewashed dreams. We belong where we stand, no permission in our hands. Yeah, and the silence won't protect you when the pattern keeps on showing. Every wall they build in pride makes the truth come back alive. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down, 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 down. Keep us out, keep us out, keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down, 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 down. Let it crack, let it show. Every lie they try to grow, one by one, the voices rise.